Thank
Wayne Brooksby now takes advantage of a slip from Pete. Brooksby towards the edge of the area, cuts in field, takes a shot from distance. Wayne Brooksby with the left boot hits the bottom right hand corner, and the former Ferriby man comes back to haunt the side that he once played for.
Good afternoon and welcome to the MBI Shea for the latest game in Guiseley's Vanarama National League campaign, and it is Derby Day here as the Lions take on a resurgent Halifax Town under caretaker manager Jim Harvey. Now, Town have had a turbulent season so far, having sacked both Neil Aspin and Darren Kelly. They come into this game though on the back of two excellent wins against Gateshead and Dover, but the Lions look to be hitting some form after last week's win against Bromley and haven't lost a game at the Shea in the last 5 visits in competitive matches here, recording 2 wins and 3 draws. There's a lot to play for here in what will surely be a fiercely contested West Yorkshire derby on a cold, wet, windy and rainy day at the Shea. We're going to hear from Will Hatfield, we're going to hear from James Hurst, we're going to hear from Mark Bauer in the build-up to today's game. Full commentary coming up from 3. Contact us with your thoughts on Twitter at Guiseley Radio.
Brooksby now on the edge of the 18-yard box, comes charging in, plays the ball across the base of goal. It's into the back of the net, and it's Adam Boys who has scored Guiseley's third. The Lions are in dreamland this evening.
Yes, welcome to the Shea on this December Saturday. We'll be hoping Christmas comes just a little bit early for the Lions in the form of 3 away points. It's been an awful long time since the Guiseley were on the road and picked up a win. My name's David Kendra. Joining me in the build-up to today's game will be Chris Bell. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. I've had a couple of weeks away. I'm raring to go and watch hopefully the Lions pick up 3 points today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're all hopeful for that, to be honest. You know, we were looking earlier. It's been a while since we won here, though. Or it feels that, you know, in terms of the competitive meets, we were looking before.
We were looking before, and it's 2 years since Guiseley picked up a win here, a 1-0 victory in the FA Trophy. That, of course, kicks in again for us next week against Marino Burscough. But we played very well last weekend against Bromley. But we're up against the team that are suffering. I say suffering. Suffering's the wrong word. Experiencing a sort of new manager bounce under Jim Harvey and a bit more confidence. What do the Lions have to do today to pick up 3 points, Chris?
They've got to score more goals than the opposition, Dave. It's as simple as that. But I know I'm going straight to the cliche there. But that is not going to be easy. There was a follow-up to that. And that is that, you know, for Halifax, they've scored 4 in their last 2 games. You know, you've just spoke about this resurgence under Jim Harvey as the interim manager. And you know, Halifax have put 8 goals in their last 2 games. They've conceded 4, though. So this is the thing, you know, you look back to Aspin and to Darren Kelly for Halifax, and the problem wasn't so much scoring goals. You know, they were still getting a couple of goals a game every now and then. But they were just on the wrong end of some absolute batterings. You know, they conceded 7 twice under Darren Kelly. They conceded 6 here at the Shea against Braintree in a 6-3 defeat. So, you know, that was the big problem, and that, I think, is evidently what cost Kelly his job. Jim Harvey's come in, somebody that, you know, we know well from his time at Stalybridge and the times we played them in the league below in the Vanarama National North. He's a good manager. He's somebody that can organise and will basically take things back to basics if that has to. And I was speaking to 1 or 2 of the guys from the Halifax media side of things, and they were saying that's basically just what he's done, is he's sent them out there with fewer instructions but with specific jobs to do, rather than, you know, do this if we're going forward, do this if we're defending. Just keep it simple, and it seems to be working so far. For, as we say, you know, 8 goals scored, 4 conceded, 2 wins on the bounce under Jim Harvey.
Well, they've certainly performed better in the last couple of games, scoring lots of goals, conceding, though, as well in both of those games, conceding 3 in the last 2 games. Guiseley themselves had a boost last week with a much-needed home win against Bromley. Is it fair to say that was a little bit unexpected?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, because you look at the way that Bromley had fallen, to be honest, in the run-up to that game. They were a playoff side, 7-8 weeks ago, and, when we played last week, they were 11th in the table, and they're further down since then. So I don't think so. It was a game that I think Guiseley, we really needed to win off the back of a couple of defeats. It was a good time to play Bromley because of their run of form. To be fair, it was an all-round solid performance. It was a professional job that we did on them. The first thing we've got to talk about, Oliver Norburn, that absolutely stunning goal that's gone very, very viral. It's gone absolutely everywhere, all over the internet and everything.
Well, he's better than Messi now, isn't he?
He's
in the same breath as Suarez and Messi and Neymar.
That was, for me, that article that was on the Guardian website with the caption, Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, Oliver Norburn. All in the goals of the week on the Guardian website. And that is stunning. And
an extra boost this week with the news that he signed a contract to the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. He was on a short-term deal before. He's played in the last 3 games. He's shown a lot about him in two of them 3, I'd say. I think against Tranmere he was a little bit lost, to be fair. But to be fair to Tranmere, that was probably more down to them playing well than us playing badly. But in the games that we've had at home against Eastleigh, when he showed a great range of passing, and then last week where he showed that passing again, but he also had the excellent goal. He also had a great effort from a little bit closer in, but smashed the crossbar as well. So he's got all these capabilities. The only thing is now he signed a longer term deal. He's probably going to end up being a bit pants now. It would just start look. It's
confidence, Chris. Confidence. Well, he's going to start today alongside Will Hatfield, and we've got an interview with Will Hatfield after last week's win against Bromley. Here he comes.
I'm joined by Will Hatfield after Guiseley's 2-0 home win over Bromley. First things first, Will, can you try and sum up the performance and the result for me?
Yeah, great performance from the boys throughout. We started really well, and we continued that. We took a bit of pressure in the second half but that was always going to be the case. But we did really well, defended well, and should have been more than 2-0, really.
Taking into consideration the playing conditions, the absolute torrential rain we had, what was it like out there?
Yeah, do you know what? Surprisingly, it wasn't too bad. First half was a lot worse than the second. When we came out for the second half, the rain stopped and the wind stopped a bit, so I think that helped them a bit, really. But no, it was fine out there. Pitch was in. It was fine. We're good.
Should we take a moment to talk about Oliver Norburn's goal, of course, playing your central midfield role alongside him today?
Yeah, no, great finish. He had one just before we hit the bar, so for that one to go in, it was great for him.
How many of those did he try in training?
He's tried a few, but no, that was I was right behind it as well. So really happy for him, and he had a good performance as well today, so it was good. Speak
about your own performance. First game back for a little while after being out through injury.
Yeah, no, it's good to come straight back into the team, and I felt it okay, contributed, and feeling it a bit towards the end. But that was going to always be the case after being out for 4 weeks. But no, I thought I came into the team and did the job, and obviously we've got the 3 points. That's the main thing.
After a difficult run of results, how's the dressing room really after that run now to have a win and a clean sheet?
Yeah, we're absolutely delighted. So yeah, you couldn't have asked any more. We needed a victory today, and that's what we've given everybody. Hopefully the fans will go home happy, and well, I am certainly anyway. So that's good. Yeah. So.
And of course, to set it up nicely, because we go to Halifax next week. Of course, they had 2 back-to-back wins. They've scored 8 goals in the last 2 games. They seem to have found a new lease of life.
Yeah, they've picked up a bit. So going to that place anyway, it's always going to be a tough game. So we'll prepare right this week. Lads will be all buzzing this week, hopefully, and we'll go again next weekend, and hopefully we can celebrate another 3 points.
How important was it to get this win today ahead of going to a game like that? Because would it have made it a lot more difficult after going into that after the run form?
Well, yeah, like I said, we've lost the last 3 anyway, so even if we lost today, it'd have been really bad for us. But we managed to get the 3 points, so it'll give us more confidence to go into next week.
And again, another chance for you to go back to your old side, to go back to the show.
Yeah, I think it'll be the 4th time we've played them already this season, so yeah, no, looking forward to it. So I just hope we can come out on the better hand.
Will Hatfield there after Guiseley's 2-0 win against Bromley last Saturday. Well, the teams are in. We'll just have a quick rundown of them now, starting with Halifax, the home side today. In goal, Sam Johnson. Number 2, James Bolton. Number 3, Scott McManus. Number 6, Hamza Ben Sharif. Number 32, Keel O'Brien. Number 4, Kingsley James. 35, Nicky Rowe. 18, Sean Tooten. 9, Jordan Burrow. 17, Josh McDonald. And 22, Ben Clappison in the centre of defence there. On the bench for Halifax, Jordan Porter, Graham Hutchison, Sam Walker, Kieran Sadlier and Jake Hibbs. So, to the Lions. In goal today, Stephen Drench. At left back, Danny Lowe. At right back, James Hurst. Central defensive partnership today of Adam Lockwood and Jake Lawler. Centre midfield is Will Hatfield and Oliver Norburn. On the right, Anthony Dudley, Adam Smith on the left, and up front, Adam Boys. On the subs bench today, Daniel Atkinson, Ryan Tilson, Tom Craddock, Liam Dickinson, Nicky Boschel. As always, I've missed out at least one of them. Gavin Rothery is going to be playing just behind Adam Boys today in that number 10 role. Chris, it's the same team as last week. How do you see them lining up today?
Exactly the same. As we say, it's the same lineup: 4-2-3-1. It worked last week. Why change something that's off the back of a good win? And as we say, that central mid partnership that we touched on earlier before we heard from Will of Norburn and Hatfield. For me, if them two can basically form a partnership over time, they are the best pairing that we have in the centre of the park, for me, on paper. There
was an interesting post on the forum in midweek about one of the... I can't remember who it was. I apologise to them. But they basically said it's the same every season. We have half a season of experimentation and chopping and changing, and then we settle down, and then we find our best 11, and then we go on a bit of a run after the new year. There have been quite a few new signings. There was a couple over the summer in terms of Adam Lockwood, Will Hatfield, etc., etc. But also coming in, Adam Smith, Oliver Norburn, Anthony Dudley, James Hurst. Do you think we're getting close now to having that sort of settled team to giving those players enough time?
You would hope so at this stage. I mean, it's interesting to look at the team sheet, which it just had to add, we are wrestling with the team sheets today. It's very, very blustery up in the stand where we are. But look at the team sheet. You've got players that were there at the start of the season with the squad numbers 1 to 14, and then you hit 33, 34, 35 and 36. So you can see instantly where players that weren't here at the start of the season and where Mark's thought, right, we need to bring in players here, bring in a position there, and that's what he's done. We've got Hurst and Adam Smith in particular, who obviously both on loan from Torquay and Wrexham respectively, and of course who are looking to make that move permanent. In January. Dave, do you mind?
Chris there laughing at the jokes in his own head. But I think his point is valid. We've had quite a few new signings. The most recent would be James Hurst. We've signed him. He's come all the way up north from Torquay. He's on loan. And we spoke to him after the game against Bromley.
Tom Feeney with James Hurst after the 2-0 win for Guiseley against Bromley. James, first of all, how was the home debut?
I enjoyed it, yeah. Played well throughout the whole game. Plenty of chances. I mean, we must have got about 20 crosses in the first half. Probably the same second half, so goals were always coming and felt we dominated the game and fully deserved it.
Looking at the result, obviously, it's good to get a run of losses out the way, and against a side who were very close to guys in the table, so really important in the end.
Yeah, of course, when you beat the teams around you, if you're at the top, if you're at the bottom, if you're in the middle, you're always going to progress, so it's a good win today.
And how was it in the wind and rain during the first half? Some horrible conditions, but you managed well.
Well, yeah, there's always one or two every season where you can see everyone's shivering on the pitch. This was one of them today. But yeah, you just got to get through it. You always know that you're going to get one or two every season, so it's one of those things. And
next up is a local derby against FC Halifax Town. Obviously for yourself, the first opportunity to experience a Yorkshire derby.
Yeah, I've actually played Halifax this season already, but I haven't, obviously, like I say, played in the Yorkshire derby, so that'd be interesting. They're a good club, so we'll see what that brings.
And I've seen that you have moved to Leeds now. How are you finding moving to Yorkshire?
Nice, yeah, I've been up before a few times. Checked out the city before, so I do like Leeds as a place, so capital of the north and all that. So yeah, I'm just relishing it, looking forward to it.
And when you joined Guiseley, were there anyone that you knew coming here?
Yeah, I knew Ollie Norburn just through mutual friends, and yeah, he's a good lad. and I've obviously heard and played against Guiseley last season and this season, so it wasn't too unfamiliar.
And you've joined on an initial loan deal. I mean, is there any chance that this could be extended towards the end of the season?
I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but it's a loan till January at the moment.
James Hurst there, playing his cards close to his chest.
He doesn't sound sure, does he, there?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know what it is. But he's on loan till January. He looks pretty decent. He linked up very well with Adam Smith, didn't he, against Bromley? And looks a useful acquisition. What I was going to say before as well is players coming back as well. We've now got a bit of strength in depth. You know, you've still got Ryan Toulson to come back. You've got Wayne Brooksby currently on loan, but he'll undoubtedly come back. And of course, the one day we will see Ollie Johnson on the pitch, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. And of course, the one, for me, the biggest man that needs to come back, Rob Atkinson, because if you get him alongside, for me, it would be him alongside Jake Lawler on current form. It would be Lawler and Atkinson, and for me, that is a side that is very comfortable, a mid-table side at this level.
Well, the man who's got to make all the decisions is, of course, the manager, and again, we spoke to him after the Bromley game. Here's Mark Bauer.
Mark, a fantastic performance this afternoon. You must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I think since we were promoted, I think today's been our best sort of all-round and complete performance. I thought we were best team from start to finish. Thought 2-0 probably flattered them a little bit. We had some great chances second half to finish the game earlier than we did, and I thought from 1 to 11 performed really, really well, and pleasing as well, because we've got a few players out and been on a little bit of a bad run, given that we've been playing three of the probably best sides in the league, but I thought the sort of promising stuff that we showed in those 3 games sort of came through a bit more today, when we get on the ball a little bit more, and yeah, pleased, really, really pleased.
In the second half, we really pressed, and there was so many chances that we had. Did you wonder at one point, with it hanging at 1-0, that we might be caught once again?
You always do, because any team at this level has got the ability in the side to create a chance, and they created their one chance and put it wide. I think he was under a bit of pressure, and Drenchy came out and shut him down well. So there's always that opportunity that someone's going to, like Ollie Norburn did first half, stick it in the top corner from 25 yards. That can happen at this level. So you always need that second goal, and the only sort of downside or criticism today would be that we didn't finish it off sooner. But all around, thought we looked very comfortable, dealt with the conditions very well. Said at half time, we're in front and we've now got the win behind us, but we're not, can't afford to sit back. We've got to put pressure on them and try and press as high up as we possibly can, and I think that worked well for us and set us off well in the second half, and we really were the dominant team, and really, like keep saying, we should have won more comfortably.
The story of the game has to be, though, the moment of the game has to be that incredible strike from Oliver Norburn there.
Yeah, he did a great one just before, didn't he, that crashed against the underside of the bar, and he's got that in his game. He's lining it up and he's into the wind. You're thinking, is that the right thing to do? But we said to the players before the game, shoot from distance, follow things in both ends, because when the conditions are like they are, slippery ball and wind, ball can move around, and flew in the top corner for him. And I thought he deserved it. I think he's been good for us since he came in. He's really made a few sacrifices to come here, and it's real credit to him that he's done what he's done, and he deserved the goal today. I thought it was good second half as well. Not, didn't do anything special. Just sort of let Gavin and Will sort of tick about in front of him, and he just kept it nice and simple for us. And the 3 of them worked really well in there today.
And also, you secured the loan signing Anthony Dudley until the new year, and he also had another goal, another fine performance today. Yeah,
looked good. I think we could single every single player out really in terms of good performances, and he's learning the game. 1 or 2 decisions he could probably make a little bit better at times, but he got himself in some really good areas, showed some real quality. A couple of superb touches first half that set up chances. One for Will Hatfield early on, it was a great little touch and pass. And looked very good for us. Deserved his goal in the end. Probably should have had it a little bit sooner, but he enjoyed the goal and just capped a nice win for us.
And finally, next week, another trip, 4th time this season, a game against FC Halifax, another win for them this afternoon against Dover. It'll be another tough afternoon at the Shea.
Yeah, I think we saw, the 2 FA Cup games that they brought some, they'd certainly improved and brought some good players in. Obviously, the balance had not been quite right since those games against us, but, Jim Harvey, an experienced manager, campaigner, he's gone in there and got 2 great wins from scored 8 goals in the last 2 games and two really good wins. You know, Dover are a top side at this level, so to beat them as comfortably as they've done today, you know, we won't be able to take the league position as any kind of barometer for what kind of game it is. You know, it's funny, you know, you'll get teams at certain times. Probably today we've got Bromley when they're on a run of 3 defeats and, you know, probably struggling a little bit. Had we got them 2 months ago when they were flying, maybe it'd have been a bit of bad luck for us to get them at that time. So can't read too much into where teams are in the league. You know, the form's probably more of a guide as to what you're going to come up against. And at the minute, Halifax one of the form sides in the league, and we've got to approach it as we approach today. And if we do that, you know, we've got a chance of going there and getting a result. And you know, every confidence that we can do.
The teams are out at the Shea and taking you through this afternoon's action. Nick Keefe, but starting Colin Robertson.
Thank you, Dave. And here we are on a very blustery afternoon here at the Shea in Halifax. For Guiseley and Halifax's 4th encounter this season, Halifax have had 3 different managers across those 4 games. First blood to Guiseley earlier on this season when Will Hatfield scored against his old side and the Lions ran out 2-1 winners. Neil Aspin, the man who lost his job after that game. And then in the FA Cup, 2 games it took. Guiseley fought back from a 2-0 deficit here at the Shea and got themselves back to 2-2. A replay at Nethermore went the way after extra time of the Sheamen. So a very finely balanced pair of teams this afternoon, with the Lions having won last weekend and under the new temporary charge of Jim Harvey, Halifax have had 2 fine results. 4-1 victors at Gateshead when they played the Lions' share of that game with 10 men. They then beat Dover, who of course have been on a fine run this season, 4-2. So great optimism for the side at the bottom of the table, and great optimism from Guiseley too, that after that great victory over Bromley and that incredible goal from Oliver Norburn, the Lions can kick on this afternoon. Quick run down the 2 sides. For Halifax, Sam Johnson in goal, James Bolton, Scott McManus, Hamza Ben-Sharif, Keil O'Brien, Kingsley James, Nicky Rowe, the captain, Sean Tooton, Jordan Burrow, Josh McDonald and Ben Clappison. On the bench, Jordan Porter, Graham Hutchinson, Sam Walker, Kieran Sadler and Jake Hibbs. The Lions, as we get ready to kick off this game, with Steve Drench in goal, Danny Lowe, Adam Lockwood, Jake Lawler, Adam Boys, Gavin Rothery, Will Hatfield, Adam Smith, Anthony Dudley, Oliver Norburn and James Hurst. The same starting 11 as we had last week. On that occasion, it was good enough to see off Bromley 2-0. And we get the game underway here at the Shea. And immediately the home side punt the ball upfield and it's out for a Guiseley throw. And so it's a chance to welcome Nick Keefe to this blustery stand this afternoon. I'm sure you're looking forward to a promising game, a promising West Yorkshire derby.
Well, I'm always here when there's a seat at the back of the stand, away from the worst of the weather, Colin. And it's another difficult afternoon. It'll be interesting to see how much of an effect the weather has on the proceedings today. I know it had a big impact on the early going in the Britannia earlier between Stoke and Manchester City. And you just want to see what is, as you say, a very finely poised battle between 2 similarly capable teams, not spoiled as a spectacle by the weather or the wind.
Guiseley just having to defend a little bit after a throw, but now coming away on the counter-attack down the left-hand side. Dudley making some progress down that left flank, held up by the Halifax defence, plays a rather slack ball to Gavin Rothery. Looked like he might have rolled that one out of play, but the linesman didn't flag. Guiseley keep the ball ticking over now with Norburn. Now to Rothery. Rothery on the left angle of the penalty area. Cuts in towards the byline, gets the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, defended and got away. Norburn on the ball. Shouts of shoot after his goal, but he floats one into the area towards Boys, and actually it was a well delivered ball from Oliver Norburn. Adam Boys tried to take it down on his thigh, couldn't control it. It's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good move that by Guiseley, and Adam Smith actually was begging for the ball square of Norburn earlier in that move before he chose the ball over the top to Boys. And on his return to the Shea, first time since signing for Guiseley that Smith has played against his Calderdale former club. and he will be wanting to make an impact today.
Free kick just given to Halifax just inside the Guiseley half on the left-hand side of the centre circle. They play it down the left channel, and it's on towards the edge of the 18-yard box now. A long way from our commentary position. They try to work down that left flank. The ball whipped in by James, held by Stephen Drench on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Drench delivers it upfield immediately. Sort of swirling wind in here. I'm not quite sure who's got the advantage on the field at the moment with the wind. But it's gone out of play nonetheless anyway for a Halifax throw in right-back position.
Yeah, well, the Shay's slightly set down into the ground, isn't it? It's just a little bit secluded from possibly the worst of the wind, but it's open at all 4 corners, and so it will swirl around inside the wind that drops down to pitch level. We'll have to see how it affects the ball.
Halifax just unable to control possession. The ball out towards Josh McDonald on the right-hand side was way ahead of him, and it's out for a Guiseley throw in left-back. Adam Lockwood just tying his laces. Had a very enjoyable morning, actually, Nick. Played for the supporters club against Halifax's own supporters team. It was ridiculous wind, and we lost 5-3.
Oh.
None of the goals were my fault, though.
No?
Well, okay, maybe 1 or 2.
So what you're saying is we need to win by 3 clear goals this afternoon
for the second leg
to take it on aggregate.
Boys on the ball on the halfway line. It's a bit of scrappy period of play actually from both sides, both struggling to get the ball under control, perhaps because of the conditions. Jake Lawler in centre half again, plays it up towards Smith. Smith spins on the ball, plays it out to the right-hand side where Hurst has taken up an advanced position. He cuts it infield, and then there's a bundle in the back of Will Hatfield. And Guiseley get a free kick midway through this Halifax half.
Yeah, silly free kick to give away that, actually. And they've taken it quickly.
The ball's taken to the right-hand side. Hurst cuts it into the area, but he just loses control at the crucial time. And then it's defended by McManus, who plays the ball upfield, and it's out for a Guiseley throw.
And in this sort of weather, both teams will need to play some fairly conservative passing, which it can make for quite a difficult game to watch sometimes. You have to keep it on the ground, because as soon as it's up in the air, you're kind of risking it to the weather, to the wind. And you don't really want to be playing it too far ahead of a runner. You've got to play to feet and to short if you want to be sure of finding your man. And so both teams are going to take a little while just to feel out what they can and can't do on the pitch down there.
Meanwhile, Gavin Rothery's just been clipped, and again it's another free kick just inside the Halifax half, taken quickly again, this time by Norburn. Out here to Smith now. He cuts infield. Back to Hurst on the right-hand side, hugging that touchline. 3 ahead of him if he can find them. Plays it out here towards Rothery. Rothery had just gone the other way from the ball for a second, and that allowed McManus to intercept. Guiseley throw.
Good movement by Guiseley off the ball so far, and encouraging signs of that new partnership between Hurst and Adam Smith on the right.
Throw goes in, picked up by Boys. Back to goal though, going away from goal now. Gives it to Norburn. Norburn on the ball. Prepares to find a pass. He's held up well by the Halifax defence. And then it's now here with Smith on the right flank. Cuts in field, plays it in towards Boys. Nice 1-2. Gives Will Hatfield the ball on the edge of the D. He's tackled. It's a good tackle by Hamza Ben-Sharif. And in the end, it's Halifax's chance to counter-attack now. Moving down the right-hand side. McDonald is held up there by Lockwood. And Lockwood is going to be spoken to by the referee. The home crowd not impressed. Just as McDonald was building up somewhat of a head of steam, Lockwood stepped across and blocked his run.
Yeah, that move was topped and tailed by 2 challenges. Firstly, the very good one on Will Hatfield on the edge of the box by Ben-Sharif, and as you say, a bit of a clumsy one from Adam Lockwood at the end. Halifax will try and swirl this ball into the box from very, very deep from the free kick.
Played in now by Nicky Rowe, the captain, floats the ball in towards the penalty spot. It's nodded down into the 6-yard box, nobody able to get on the end of it. And frankly, it just sort of rolls behind, rather excruciatingly from our point of view, and behind for a goal kick. Rather uncomfortable moment there for the Lions. Ball forward quickly though. Adam Boyes has got clear of the back line. The goalkeeper comes out. He takes it past him, but he's right down by the touchline. He won't be able to do anything with it. In the end, it took a clip off the goalkeeper. Boyes settles for the corner, but a very swift move upfield. A simple ball delivered over the top. Boyes timed his run well, got it past the goalkeeper, took a deflection, behind for a Guiseley corner.
Well, that was an absolutely excellent through ball, perfectly weighted to find Adam Boyes. Very smartly off his line, Johnson, the new keeper, a little bit swifter off his line than Glennon was in recent times when we've seen him playing for Halifax.
Corner from the right-hand side. Guiseley with 5 yellow shirts in that box. Floated up towards the penalty spot. Keeper off his line. Punches away. Johnson only punches it as far as Smith, who's in the penalty area. He's blocked by Kingsley James. And James, in the end, gets the better of him. And Smith fouls James. And a promising move rather comes to nothing in the end.
Yeah, Smith will have an interesting afternoon. I can't think how many players of the current Halifax squad are left over from last season. I know they've changed a lot of their personnel, but obviously the ones who are still here will have coached their colleagues, their teammates well on how to defend against him. And that time, Smith tried to go onto the outside, onto his right foot to make another stabbing ball across the 6-yard line, and was read well by the defender.
Hatfield gets the ball, goes to ground, but still manages to play it on, and he flakes a little ball into Rothery. He threads it through towards Dudley, just couldn't take it in his stride, Dudley. The ball's defended. Halifax a little rattled by Guiseley in these opening stages. The Lions playing some nice stuff through the middle of the park. Just need to get a bit of a head of steam in that final third. This throw is defended, though, this time. James is dispossessed by Rothery. And Norburn on the halfway line goes all the way back to Stephen Drench. And the ball bobbles up on the edge of the 18-yard box as Drench goes to take it down, but he retains control. He plays it out to the right flank, and it's picked up again by Hurst, who cuts in field. Guiseley keep the ball ticking over. They're being pressed, though, by Jordan Burrow, and forces Norburn into getting into a more defensive place. And he will look to play it long. Plays it short, actually, to Will Hatfield. Guiseley still in their own half, but have players advanced positions to find if they can, and in the end it's Smith again who picks up the ball, looks for options, still some distance from goal, takes it past a couple, Boyes takes over, takes the ball off him, he's furious because I think he was lining up a shot. He puts his hands in the air, and then Boyes tackled him just at the rather crucial moment, I think, and Boyes loses the ball, and now Halifax can come away with it on the counter-attack. Burrow on the right flank, 3 yellow shirts around him, plays a loose ball into Danny Lowe, who very well anticipates the pass and comes over the halfway line, plays it square now. And then there's a foul surely on Smith, not given. This time Danny Lowe tries to get past 2. Does. Great battling spirit from Lowe to force the ball forward. Now Smith plays it out to the right flank. Guys, don't find the man, though, with that ball. Hurst was the intended target. It's intercepted. Halifax tried to come away with it. McManus swipes a foot at the ball, misses it completely, manages to take it away with a second attempt. And Drench sweeps up, lofts the ball high in the air again. Guiseley, as you can probably tell from the wind, just trying to adjust to the conditions as the ball hangs in the air. Halifax also struggling with it. They head the ball straight to Will Hatfield. It's picked up now by Boyes on the right-hand side. Floats it in towards the back post, up towards Gavin Rothery. He couldn't make the header ahead of the defender. And in the end, Halifax come away with it. And it was the captain, Nicky Rowe, who made the important interception. Now as they aim to get Burrow back into play, Guiseley recover the ball. It's a strange sort of game so far, but Guiseley equipping themselves very well at the moment. Here comes Smith again on the ball, running at the Halifax defence. Out to the right-hand side. Hurst up from right back. Up against McManus. Blasts the cross into McManus's midriff. And the home side come away with it. But really well won back here by Adam Smith on the right-hand side. He looks for a cross. He plays it rather high and comfortable for Sam Johnson to claim on the edge of his 6-yard box.
Well, there's an awful lot happening out there on the pitch at the moment. Lots of good football, surprising amount. Anytime the ball goes in the air, the teams don't know what's going to happen to it.
Rowe plays the ball up to the edge of the D now as Halifax attack. Gets the ball back from Burrow, plays it to the right-hand side. McDonald up against Danny Lowe. McDonald gets the better of the Guiseley fullback into the penalty area, lays it back on the edge of the area. Burrow goes down, but there's no real shout for a penalty. Guiseley managed to get the ball away. But Halifax still in possession. They win the second phase back here. James Bolton's cross blocked. Comes back, though, to McDonald on the right flank. Nicky Rowe again. Floats the ball in towards the back post. This time it's overhit. And again, it goes all the way out towards the corner flag, and Guiseley will just keep that in play. Hurst looking for options ahead of him now, plays it long, punts it upfield, and there goes Adam Boyes chasing after it, giving a very tough time to Hamza Ben Sharif, but he holds his nerve and lays the ball back to the goalkeeper, Sam Johnson.
Yeah, Boyes looks like he's game for having a run on the shoulder of one or two of these defenders today. Looks like he might just have the beating of Ben Sharif for pace.
Slack ball in midfield, picked up by Smith. Rothery and Smith combine. Smith tries to take it down the right-hand side, goes to ground. I don't think there was any ever chance of Smith getting that free kick, and it's rolled out harmlessly for a throw-in for Halifax.
Well, Adam Smith obviously wants to make a statement or have a big impact on this game, but he's found the ground a little bit too readily for my liking on 2 or 3 occasions so far.
Looks like difficult turf, but now Halifax are coming forward again. This real end-to-end game, this at the moment. They play it towards the edge of the 18-yard box. The shot comes in, but it's rather tame and very comfortable for Stephen Drench. And Tooten really not hitting that at all well.
It's fascinating to watch, actually. Guiseley are playing like the home team, very much in command of the ball and dominating the possession. Halifax looking very dangerous on the break, and in fact really have had the first proper shot of the game on target.
Norburn pressed by James inside his own half. Does well, does Oliver Norburn, though. Keeps the ball ticking over, finds Lockwood. There's loads of goals in the National League, which I want to come to when we get a break, but Dudley's on the attack now for Guiseley. He cuts in field. He actually has to hold his run as he comes up face to face with Clapperson. But the Lions still taking the ball over on this right-hand side. And Guiseley have got options on the left if Norburn can find them. But Norburn goes central, plays it up towards Dudley. Dudley with his back to goal against Ben Sharif. Gives the ball to Rothery. Rothery has to go back himself to Norburn. Good defensive shape from Halifax. Given their dues, the Lions just struggling to see a way through. Perhaps if they could use the width, we could do something. Lockwood now steps forward. He plays the ball to Danny Lowe on the left-hand side, who's got the chance to cross. He goes up towards the back post. Smith chases after it, but it's comfortable for Manus to head away on this occasion. Now, Halifax with Kingsley James. Play it down the left flank. And it's a chase on now for Josh McDonald, but he can't reach it before it goes out of play. And it's a throw for the Lions in right-back position.
It's a good game, not just because it's a local derby, but because there's so much mixed, I don't know what I'm trying to say, mixed heritage between these two teams. There's so many Guiseley players who used to play for Halifax, and Danny Lowe has been out wide, trying to push forward early on in this game, waiting outside on the left wing for the whole of that move for the ball to come to him, delivered a good cross in. He's just one of a number who obviously used to ply their trade here at the Shea, and you can see that they want to put on a show when they come back here. I think what is it now? It's Danny Lowe, Will Hatfield, Adam Smith. Who else of the ones we've got at the moment? I'm sure there's others.
Nicky Boschel had a spell. Was that Bradford Park Avenue, wasn't it?
I think that, yeah, you're right. That was Park Avenue.
Well, it's the manager, of course.
I was going to say, obviously Mark used to play here.
You're not missing anything, by the way. There's just a procession of throw-ins on the right-hand side that haven't really made up any territory whatsoever for either team. Guiseley have the throw at the moment, but they've given possession back to Halifax.
Ryan Toulson was the answer.
Ryan Toulson, of course. Eventually goes back to Sam Johnson. The goalkeeper lofts the ball long. Jake Lawler gets a head on it, and it will roll back rather tamely to Stephen Drench. The surface, obviously wet, didn't look particularly good to play on. Now James Bolton picks the ball up. He takes a run, but he's stopped in his tracks. And now Guiseley come away with it. Anthony Dudley making the challenge on that occasion. Dudley now on the ball, plays it infield to Smith. Smith inside the centre circle, lays it into the feet of Hatfield. Guiseley looking bright. Hurst into Smith. Smith, the three around him, gives it to Boyes. Boyes finds a good ball through. Dudley's clean through on goal, and he's onside. Only the goalkeeper to beat. Dudley fluffs his lines, puts the ball wide, and it's a harmless goal kick. And that was a gilt-edged chance there for Guiseley and Anthony Dudley.
Oh, agony for Anthony Dudley. He's been so deadly in front of goal since he arrived on loan just a few weeks ago. Perfect position. It was actually, I think, James Bolton who was way out of line with the rest of his defence, about 10 yards behind them, but in a completely different part of the pitch to Dudley, playing Dudley onside. Gave the young man acres of space, and it looked as he was bearing down on goal that he was going to bury that, as we've seen him do. What a brilliant chance.
It's almost like he had too long to think about it.
Yeah.
James now on the counter-attack for Halifax, who know they've got away with one here. Onto the edge of the D, he's managed to craft open an angle for a shot. Good blocking challenge comes in. And then James, just a little bit over-enthusiastic as he tries to win the ball from Jake Lawler. Concedes the free kick. Should we give you some goals from around the grounds? I've got a whole list of them here. Dover take an early lead against Aldershot. Tranmere 1, Braintree 0. Woking 1, Lincoln City 0. Actually, Braintree now have got an equaliser, so it's now 1-1 at Tranmere. In the north, Fylde leading at Hensford, Tamworth at home to Worcester, and Cheltenham have taken the lead at 1-0 over Chester. Phew.
About 2:30, almost 2:45 time, we were stood down by the side of the pitch at the end of the tunnel, Colin, and it was a bit of a forlorn scene in the Shay at that point. The rain was coming down and there was hardly anyone in here. And we've been used to seeing some smaller attendances. Actually now there seems to be a bit of life amongst these Halifax fans. There's a few more here than when we last came. Obviously a few decent results and a few fighting performances, frankly, because they'd been having a fairly desperate time of it when we visited last in the FA Cup. And there's a good atmosphere in the ground today.
Let's hope we can quiet that down for a moment. Guys, pushing down this left-hand side. Still 0-0. Should it be 1-0 though? Anthony Dudley fluffed a great chance a few moments earlier.
They've had precious little to cheer actually so far, the Halifax fans. One clean attempt on goal that was harmless into the midriff of Stephen Drench, but they're certainly making a good noise for their team.
Low on the ball now, chips the ball into the penalty area over the head of Adam Boys, headed away, picked up now by Gavin Rothery, helped away as Halifax come away with the ball, but Guiseley recover possession. Norburn now to Dudley. I almost wish I could work out which way this wind is coming from, because you do wonder whether it is a first half advantage or not. As it is, Guiseley are on the ball. Norburn plays a raking crossfield pass towards Smith. He nods it down the left flank. It's too much for Danny Lowe to claim. And although Lowe tries gamefully to win the ball, it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, and just at the moment, Smith and Dudley have switched sides. Dudley out on the right and Smith here on the left in front of us in the east stand. Just to give both players a different look at goal.
Well, McDonald as well. I think he was playing on the left as well a few moments ago. He's back on the right now for Halifax. So the game of swapping flanks continues. Guiseley recover the ball from the goal kick, and it's a chance for Hurst to step up from full-back. He's running down that right-hand side, gives the ball to Dudley. Guiseley in possession here with Norburn, floating it over. It's going to go all the way back to Sam Johnson.
Yeah, about the wind. When we were at Nethermore last week and it was windy again there, it seems to have been windy the whole time in between as well.
Oh, the ball just flicked on. Sorry, Nick, it's fallen down here very kindly now for Tooten into the area. He lays the ball back, finds James. James, as Halifax craft open a rare chance as they come into the Guiseley half. A shot from the edge of the area finds a rather ambitious lob from, or volley from James Bolton at a rather awkward angle that hits the terracing behind the goal. And behind for a Guiseley goal kick.
Yeah, and again, Halifax looking dangerous when they do have opportunities to move into the Guiseley end of the pitch. 2 balls on the field at the moment, I think. Stephen Drench just tidying away. His towel has been blowing out of the goal, so he's just on a paper bag or something, a plastic bag. Anyway, I was going to say, when we were at Nethermore last week and it was very windy, the trees are the giveaway. They're the only thing we can really see to give us a clue. And at Nethermore, they were blowing in one direction and staying there. As we sit in this main stand looking over the Skircoat stand opposite us, the trees are going backwards and forwards in all directions. I do think it's not as simple as just blowing one way and helping one team at the moment. It's a little bit less predictable than that.
Well, Halifax are going to make a change shortly, so they've got an injury somewhere. Guiseley are in possession of the ball with Norburn. Norburn into Hurst, who's up from distance. He takes a shot, but it's a rather poor effort that scuffed and goes out for a goal kick. And Halifax will make the first change of the afternoon. And it is Keil O'Brien who's coming off, and Kieran Sadlier who's coming on. Now, I can only assume he's got a knock of some sort. But you know, with Jim Harvey, and we were talking to Halifax media team as well beforehand, that he takes brave decisions. He retained 2 players up front, for example, against Gateshead, as we were hearing. That was the key decision to earn Halifax that first away victory. But what do you think? What do you make of that, Nick? Is that an injury? Is that he didn't seem to be troubled as he walked off the field?
No, he wasn't limping, was he? It's hard to be sure, but if Jim Harvey is sure that it's not the wind that's causing this domination of the game by Guiseley in the first half, then it would make perfectly good sense to change something in the shape or the formation to try and address that. But I guess that'll be a question to be addressed after the game. We'll see if anything changes about how they line up.
We'll keep an eye on that. Ollie Yates has just made the referee today made a bit of an error, giving Halifax a throw that was clearly Guiseley's, but the Lions win the ball back, and Adam Boys chases this one down, forces the defender into the clearance, and Guiseley earn the throw-in thanks to Adam Boys' endeavour from James Bolton's clearance. Now Norburn picks possession up again for the Lions on the edge of the centre circle. Stands on the ball, looks for options. Dudley peels off. Norburn goes for another long drive, and it just fizzes past the upright. Oh, we saw last week what he can do from distance. And again, he hit it low and hard, and it found an angle through the players and just past that left upright and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just about a foot past that post, and left a mark in that big puddle behind the goal, just to Sam Johnson's right. Good effort, keeps the defence honest, keeps them from encroaching too far forward. And it's an important thing that Guiseley have needed for a while, I think, sometimes to add to their game is the willingness to take an early shot, just to disrupt the rhythm that the defence of the opposition think we're in.
Dudley now on the ball. Good movement here from Guiseley. Dudley just has to ride a challenge. He wins the free kick, though. It must admit, it did look like they might have actually tackled Anthony Dudley. It seemed a reasonable challenge, but the referees pulled it back. Guiseley now have a free kick about 10-15 yards from the edge of the area, on the slightly to the left of the D.
Yeah, funny one that, but the free kick's been given. Guiseley feigning taking it early a couple of times, but the referees told Oliver Norburn to wait for the whistle.
I wonder if Norburn will take this. We haven't had a free kick, have we? I think with his range. I can't remember at home to Bromley whether we did. Gavin Rothery also standing over, and Smith. I fancy Norburn will take this one. He's standing over. There's a 2-man wall. Guiseley have 4 players in just inside the penalty area. Norburn does indeed strike the ball, goes towards the same post he aimed for before. It takes a deflection off a Halifax player, much to the displeasure of the home fans, and Guiseley get the corner. And I think even the Lions players down there are a little surprised at the decision.
I'll admit I didn't see a deflection. It bounced in exactly the same place the last shot did, in the puddle just by the stand that pole holds up the back of Sam Johnson's goal.
On the right-hand side, to be taken, this corner by Smith. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box, Lockwood gets a slight touch on the ball. Guys, he claimed the corner this time. I think Ollie Yates was only ever going to do one thing, and that was point for a goal kick.
Yeah, and the Halifax fans were only ever going to do one thing, and that's ironic applause for the awarding of the goal kick.
Well, thanks to Tony Hazel tweeting us. You can tweet us as well at Guiseley Radio. Glad to hear you're enjoying the commentary. Hopefully we can bring you a goal for the Lions. There's been plenty of pressure. Guiseley have got their noses in front if it's the proverbial boxing match. We haven't been able to land the blow yet.
No, sorry. Getting your nose in front isn't a boxing metaphor.
Oh, wow, I'm making it up.
That's a horse racing.
Yeah, boxing horses.
I think the RSPCA might be involved in that.
Now that's a partridge moment. Guiseley now win the ball on the halfway line. Ball on the right-hand flank. It's good work here from Dudley. He's trying to ride a couple of challenges. The Lions still keep the ball ticking over, winning back that second phase every time. Will Hatfield runs towards the edge of the 18-yard box, plays it left here. Danny Lowe cuts it into the area. Adam Boys with a header. It's straight at the goalkeeper. Didn't have the power on it. It looped in the air, and it was comfortable actually for Johnson in the end. He had to run across the goal to claim it, but it was a good delivery from Danny Lowe. Just when Boys had the head, it was slightly behind him, I feel, and he couldn't get any power on it.
No, he's not the best with his head, is he, Adam Boys? He's got it on target that time, but without any real power behind it. It was into the far corner of the goal, exactly where you'd want to place it, but without the power. And he's definitely better. And I mean, we all know Adam Boys' strength. He finishes great from the edge of the area. You know, one-on-one with the keeper, you'd always back him. It was a good cross in though that time.
Guiseley now in possession of the ball inside their own half. Oliver Norburn, and it's up into Adam Boys' feet inside the centre circle. The Lions still again in possession of the ball, frustrating Halifax with the amount of play that we've had this afternoon. Jake Lawler gets into the Halifax half very fractionally. He plays the ball back to Adam Lockwood, and Guiseley now come forward with Dudley in towards the right-hand side, where it's defended well this time by McManus. Ben Sharif completes the clearance up towards the halfway line. Nodded on now by Gavin Rothery, but all the way back to Ben Sharif. Long ball forward now. It's a difficult one actually for Danny Lowe to deal with. He heads the ball away from McDonald, who was looking to get on the end of the raking crossfield ball, and unfortunately Danny Lowe's had to concede a corner.
Yeah, everybody tucking in for Guiseley as well. Even Adam Boys is back there inside the D. No outlet for Guiseley at all if they win the ball from this at the moment.
Guiseley with everybody inside their penalty area, as Halifax with their first corner of the game cross this one in towards a penalty spot, headed away by Jake Lawler. Picked up now though by Rowe. He's down the left flank. He's beaten one. He crosses it straight into the 6-yard box. Well held by Stephen Drench. It was a firm drive across the face of the goal, but Stephen Drench anticipated it well and claimed the ball well. Actually, I think it was Kieran Sadlier, the substitute.
Yeah, good handling that by Drench. So often you'd see that bounce off of a hard pair of hands when it's hit with that sort of pace. Did very well.
James Headley's just asked if we can have more updates on the trees from you, Nick. Says he enjoyed that bit.
I mean, we're surrounded by them on 3 sides of the ground, actually. They're the main thing you can see, looking over there.
Guys,
1 or 2 big industrial buildings in towards the town. They're all over the place, James.
Okay,
they're all over.
You can stop now. We've twigged. Oh. The ball played forward as Guiseley get the possession from a free kick, but it's a easily defended header this time, and then Adam Lockwood rather hurries a clearance.
Yeah, I was doing all my Drench puns with Chris last week, but I agree it's important that we shouldn't branch off from the focus of the commentary.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? The throw from Bolton from the right back position.
I'll get me trunk.
That doesn't make sense.
It does. That's a word for a suitcase. Come on.
Guiseley win possession back with Danny Lowe. Gives it to Adam Lockwood. Square here to Jake Lawler. And Lawler steps forward, gives it to Norburn. Norburn barking instructions to the players around him. Lays the ball into Smith, but Guiseley lose possession. And it's won back now by Nicky Rowe. The ball over the top, looking to try and get Tooten in, and it deceives Jake Lawler and then hits the back of Tooten. He's unable to control, and Guiseley could have been in a lot more trouble than they were had the ball floated more kindly for Sean Tooten. As it is, it's back here with Stephen Drench, who lofts the ball up to the halfway line. Good header again from Ben Sharif up against Gavin Rothery. It's not really a fair aerial battle, that one. Burrow out to James. James tries to find McDonald, this time comfortable for Danny Lowe to pick the ball up. And this very finely balanced West Yorkshire derby continues. Guiseley 0-0 at the moment. Play the ball up from Danny Lowe. Picked up now to Gavin Rothery. Plays it over the top. Adam Boy's onside. Can he keep the ball in play? Because it spins away from him. He does. He works very hard. Plays it back here towards Danny Lowe. Too much pace on the ball. Danny Lowe couldn't control. And in the end it bounces kindly into the feet of Sam Johnson.
It's the third or fourth time actually that the Halifax offside trap has been sprung by Guiseley. 2 or 3 times I think now by Boys, and then obviously the one by Anthony Dudley.
And it's strange actually, isn't it? Because it's just simply not holding a line.
Yeah, just a little bit of a lack of organisation. Somebody needs to be in there communicating a little bit louder if they can against the noise of the wind.
Norburn forced into real deep defensive duties. Guiseley do get the ball away. Danny Lowe has to work hard, gives it to Adam Lockwood. Lockwood tries to run past a couple of players and succeeds. It's rather awkwardly, and then plays a good ball out to the flank, which has Alan Smith running out of pace in a race with Hamza Bencharif. Bencharif wins that one, but it was great anticipation from the Guiseley captain, a great cool footwork as well.
Yeah, was that an audacious outside of the right foot through ball from Adam Lockwood? It was Shaqiri-esque.
Anthony Dudley on the ball now. Plays the ball square to Norburn. Guiseley still inside the Halifax half, but on the centre circle at the moment. And just playing keep ball as they're getting pressed by the Shaman. But they find a ball through here to Gavin Rothery. Rothery chips the ball in towards the area. Guiseley really haven't done enough in that final third, I think. And this one trundles out of play just by the corner flag. And that again is a poor delivery in the end.
But they're struggling with the range with these crosses. They've been struggling. I mean, if anything, the ball has been holding up as Guiseley try and drive it forward. And in fact, that cross was so overhit that it should have sailed out for a goal kick, and in the end hit the corner flag and went for a throw-in instead. So it is going to be challenging. But we're not playing with a big man up there. It's not like we're playing wingers and long balls into the box. It's better suited to keeping it on the ground, and that's our strength, so maybe we should stick to it.
Bit of head tennis going on in the middle of the park at the moment. Jake Lawless has to step across and get it back. Tooton's chasing Stephen Drench down, but Drench manages to get the ball clear. Too much, though, for Hurst to do anything constructive with the ball, and it's out for a throw-in for Halifax.
Sorry, Corin. That's exactly the same thing again, where Drench has tried to clear it. It's got absolutely no distance. It's left Hurst in a really difficult position. Of course, it shouldn't be going to the right back Hurst. It should be going far further up the pitch than that, and keeps possession for Halifax.
Halifax on the ball now. Bencharif plays one over the top, looking to get Jordan Burrow into the play. He does. It's now McDonald. McDonald's cross deflects back off Danny Lowe and out for a throw-in.
Much better spell of play this for the Shaman. Attacking throw-in to be taken on the edge of the area.
Bolton, the fullback, plays it into McDonald on this right-hand side. Bolton will cross now, gets the ball in. A clearance, but then a drill from the edge of the area that cannons back off the crossbar. And Guiseley, I think, have themselves got away with one, because Sadlier, I think it was the substitute, who drove the ball towards a goal after Jake Lawler's headed clearance fell to him, and then his effort back off the top of the crossbar and away.
Well, it was central, but it was drilled hard, and it was very difficult for Stephen Drench to know whether to leave or how to react. He went for it. I'm not sure how much he got of it. Obviously, it hit the bar and came back out. Real scary moment, that, for Guiseley.
Well, in all of that, James Edley says, will you leaf the tree stuff now?
Oh, no, come on, because in a few minutes I was going to say something about Route 1, and then you were going to chuckle, and then I was going to say, sorry, I couldn't leave it.
Sorry, James, I don't know where this all stemmed from. 0-0. Dover 2-0 up against Aldershot now. Chorley 1-0 up at home to North Ferriby in the north.
I think everyone's had their chlorophyll of plant puns now.
Meanwhile, there's an offside flag against Burrow, and he doesn't like it. Guys, get the ball back underway. Tooton, rather. It's into the feet of Norburn. Lions, you feel, do need to get this goal and this advantage in this game, and Hatfield is surging down the right-hand side. He's got players around him, though, and he has to go back to Rothery. In here to Hurst, and Guiseley still on that right-hand side. Rothery goes to ground. Nothing given against Hatfield, rather. And in the end, the ball goes upfield, and Jake Lawler has a lot of work to do. Drench anticipates Tooton's run well this time and gives it to Adam Lockwood. Lockwood into the feet of Rothery in the centre circle. A real live wire again this afternoon. Boys tries to keep the ball ticking over. makes hard work of it for Hatfield, but he does win the ball back and give it now to Hurst. Hurst from full-back, running forward. 4 to aim for if he can get across. He goes to Smith instead on the right-hand side. Smith tries to cut in field, up against McManus. Smith gets the cross. It takes a deflection, though, and it's behind for a corner for the Lions on the right-hand side.
First opportunity for Guiseley after a good spell of play for the home side. Big players trundling up into the box now. Let's see what Smith's delivery is like this time. It'll be out swinger with his right foot. Can he land it onto the head of a Jake Lawler or Adam Lockwood, who will be arriving on the 6-yard line in just a second?
Still 3 Halifax are keeping on the edge of the area. Guys, you have to keep 4 back then. They go short with the corner, and now it's a chance for Hurst to cross. He does a decent cross, though, headed away by Bolton. The delivery was towards Jake Lawler, who's still upfield, and then picked up now by Norburn, who has to deploy some neat footwork, and he does. And chips the ball up towards Boys. Boys chests it down, but a good interception from Hamza Ben Sharif. And there's a real effort between Dudley and the defender to try and win this one back. Guys, they do get the ball, and it is drilled in by Smith. Adam Boyce slips in the penalty area as nobody gets hold of the ball. And in the end, it goes through to the goalkeeper, Sam Johnson.
There was scruffy stuff in the box, not a real clear chance, and some last-ditch defending executed well by Halifax, who've been a lot stronger actually since that change was made. So whatever the reason was for bringing Sadlier on,
you wonder whether it was tactical.
Yeah, even if it wasn't at the moment, they seem to have settled into the game a lot better since that change.
The Shaman come forward again. Nicky Rowe plays it to James. On the halfway line, he and Rowe exchange passes. Sadlier, that substitute, picks the ball up, who also hit the crossbar with a shot, plays it down the left-hand side to McManus, who's in an advanced position. His cross in towards the 6-yard box, headed towards goal there by Jordan Burrow, who won the header ahead of Adam Lockwood. Couldn't get any power on it, and in the end it was quite comfortable for Stephen Drench. But Guiseley, again, just being asked a few more questions by this Halifax attacking line. And Drench is clearly answering the question which way the wind is blowing, because his clearance up into the air hangs in the air and falls rather comfortably for Halifax. The Lions now win possession back. Lockwood inside his own half looks to send it over the top, tries to float the ball towards Adam Boys, who chases this one down, and again is running, forces the defender Ben Clappison to hit touch, and Danny Lowe with a throw. Takes it short, gives it to Dudley. Dudley's touch lets him down, and now McDonald comes away with it. And now Guiseley have some defending to do here on the right-hand side. McDonald up against Norburn. Cuts in, failed. Norburn puts a brilliant tackle in on him after it just looked as if McDonald had got the better of him. Then a loose ball from Lockwood. And the loose ball equally back from Halifax. Gives it back to Gavin Rothery over the halfway line, and he's taken down. And that's got to be a yellow card there. And it's Jordan Burrow who made the lunging challenge after Gavin Rothery had got away from him. No question about that yellow card.
Yeah, and after we'd just seen that really good challenge by Norburn on the ground as well. There's a real skill in winning the ball after the player's already gone past you. That time, Burrow showed none of that skill. He was just there to try and stop the Guiseley break.
5 minutes to go to the break, and it's still 0-0 here. Been an open game. Halifax have hit the bar. Guiseley have had chances. A one-on-one from Anthony Dudley could have and should have been put away, or at least hit the target. Fluffed his lines. Guiseley have 4 on the edge of the 18-yard box now as a free kick is floated in, but it's well defended by the Halifax defence. But the Lions still closing down, and although they prevent the counter-attack, they only do so giving the ball back to the goalkeeper. And he sends it long. Hurst battles well to win it, and then flicks it into Gavin Rothery, who does really well to flick it over the defender, surging down towards the edge of the 18-yard box. He's caught up though by Hamza Ben Sharif, whose strength just strokes him off the ball really, and Guiseley now having to do some defending of their own, and Adam Lockwood and Jake Lawler combine well enough to get the ball away into the feet of Smith. And then back to Hurst in right-back position. Sadly has not given him a moment's peace. So Hurst goes back to Stephen Drench. Lockwood on the edge of his 18-yard box. Will start patiently again for Guiseley from the back. Closed down by McDonald. Lockwood sends it up towards Smith. Aerial battle on the halfway line. The ball bobbles around awkwardly. There's a claim of a free kick against Smith, but Guiseley win possession now. And it's a chance with Oliver Norburn coming forward. Plays it in towards Boys. Boys played it into the feet of Rothery. He tried to just dink the ball back to Norburn, but it allowed Halifax to make the challenge and hoof the ball back into the touch for a Guiseley throw.
Yeah, good intricate passing play on the edge of the Halifax area. Do want to go back to that challenge by Ben Sharif on Gavin Rothery. You know, I said a few minutes ago, it's there's a real skill in winning a challenge after a man's gone past you. He must have made up 10 yards on Gavin Rothery and challenged him strongly and soundly and accurately from behind at pace. Well done.
Now, Guiseley win the ball back again on the edge of the area. Hatfield, he's got 5 around him. Plays it out to the flanks where it's curled back in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. This time again, the delivery from Smith doesn't really cause Halifax any problems, and Sam Johnson plucks the ball out of the air, and the danger passes. Plays it forward, and it bounces awkwardly. Tooten looking to see if he can win this one from Lockwood. Lockwood sends it back to Drench. Drench and Lockwood just exchange passes to ensure that Tooten is taken out of the frame. Lockwood steps up. He's got players on the edge of the halfway line to play the ball into. It's picked up now here by Rowe. Rowe. He's got Tooten ahead of him. Rowe plays the ball in towards the edge of the D. Good interception from Jake Lawler. Guys who win possession back here. Gavin Rothery closed down inside the centre circle inside his own half, but keeps possession. Gives the ball to Will Hatfield. Norburn trying to dictate play by crossing the ball out to the right-hand side and instead concedes possession. Nicky Rowe picks it up and from distance blasts it at goal. It's blocked at close range by Adam Lockwood. And then the ball just not rolling freely in that area we were talking about earlier on, and it sort of held up in the grass and almost could have been recovered by Danny Lowe. It's out for a Halifax throw anyway, and it's picked up by Bolton. Plays it to the right-hand side. McDonald crosses towards the edge of the area. Can they get the shot away? It was almost Sadlier again, but this time the turf wasn't true enough for the ball to fall to Sadlier, and Guiseley can come away on the counter-attack, and they move forward in numbers swiftly. Smith, he's got Hurst, he's tackled, and again the ball trickles over the line at the expense of nothing but a Halifax throw.
I think Smith might need to get a new mobile phone, because it seems everyone in the Halifax team's got his number.
Oh. Smith does look a frustrated figure, though, on that left-hand side.
Well, he came out looking to make a point. We saw early in the game he was chasing hard. He looked like he had real fire in his eyes, but it looks like they know how to play him. They've seen him onto his left more often than not, where he's less effective. And although he's very quick, he isn't actually quicker than Scott McManus, I don't think. And so he's been handled very well so far.
It's 1 minute of added time at the end of the 45 minutes here. It's been an entertaining half so far. Can it end with a flourish for the Lions? The ball sent down the right-hand side. Dudley will chase. Ben Sharif never in any danger of not getting there ahead of Dudley, but Dudley's fully committed in trying to force the issue. And Guiseley win the throw.
He looks very impressive, doesn't he, Ben Sharif? Did he even start when we were here last? I feel like he came on as a substitute.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play a full game before that I can remember, but he's looked very good in this first half.
Rothery on the ball for Guiseley. Inside the Halifax half, Will Hatfield finds Smith. The ball floated in towards the area, headed away by Ben Sharif. That man again. Only as far as Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe combines with Rothery. The cross from Danny Lowe now into the 6-yard box. Not a bad ball, but it was comfortable for the goalkeeper. And that marks the end of the first half action, with Guiseley wondering whether they should have capitalised on some good chances they've had. Anthony Dudley particularly with a great opportunity in that first half, sent clean through on goal. And Halifax will rue the fact that substitute Kieran Sadlier's shot hit the crossbar rather than the back of the net. But half-time here at a very wintry Shea. and a very entertaining game. It's still scoreless. Halifax 0, Guiseley 0.
Yeah, very good first half of football to watch. Both teams having opportunities. Guiseley dominating the possession, struggling to get accurate final balls into the box. Possibly the wind, possibly good goalkeeping as well from Sam Johnson. And Halifax have looked dangerous on the break. Oliver Norburn seems to be one of the Guiseley players who's best adapted to the conditions with his range of passing. And all to play for in the second half. We will see how much of an impact the direction of the wind has on the game. We will know that probably within the first 5 minutes of the second half. And while we go and grab a cup of tea at half-time to take you through, it'll be Dave Kendra.
Yeah, well, we'll hand over to Dave just a moment, if you give him your stuff. It's all slick and professional here in the stand. You can feel the wind probably. You can hear the wind, sorry, probably as it blows against our commentary position and our microphones. And the real problem here is that it's just keeping things on your lap as you sat here watching the game. But the driving rain and the surface and the weather conditions have made it very difficult in that first 45. Now, Dave, you're finally in position, I think, and he's going to give us some updates of all the scores at half-time. So with that, I'll hand over to you and Chris.
Thanks, Colin. Chris will join me in just a few moments, but while we await his expert analysis on this, what's been a very entertaining 0-0 so far. It's full of space, Guiseley making plenty of chances. Maybe the final ball's not quite there at the moment, but let's hope for better in the second half. Let's go through some other scores from the National League then. A couple of games postponed. Barrow against Boreham Wood, Bromley against Grimsby, and Southport against Forest Green have all succumbed to the weather conditions today. It has calmed down a little bit in terms of the wind at the Shea here, but the rain is still coming down. It's that fine rain that soaks you through here, and it will undoubtedly play a part later in this game. Going through the other scores in the National League then, Cheltenham and Chester are playing at a 1-1 draw at half-time. Dover Athletic are 2-0 up at Aldershot. Kidderminster and Gateshead is still goalless. Southport and Macclesfield have had a man sent off each, and they are currently tied at 1-1. Torquay and Wrexham are drawing 0-0. Tranmere at home to Braintree are losing 2-1, and Woking are 2-0 up at Lincoln at home to Lincoln City. Just looking at the standings there, do beg your pardon. Going down to the National League North, from whence we came. Brackley 0, Gloucester 0, Bradford Park Avenue 0, Stalybridge 0, Chorley 2 up at home to North Ferriby. Could have been us. No word on whether Brooksby's playing for North Ferriby today. Curzon Ashton 0, Telford 0, Gainsborough 0, Harrogate Town 1, Hensford 0, Fylde 1, Lowestoft 0, Alfreton 0, Nuneaton Corby 0-0, Solihull 0, Boston 0. Not a lot of goals around in the north this afternoon. Stockport 0, FC United of Manchester 1. That'll be a fiercely contested game. There was rather a spat on Twitter this afternoon over whether Stockport was Manchester or not. Tamworth 1, Worcester 0. Laughing at my own jokes. Going to avoid the Premier League because we have often been accused of ruining people's experience of Match of the Day. So we'll just leave that for now. But if you're interested, Championship games, Huddersfield are winning 1-0 away at Birmingham. Bolton 1, Cardiff 1, Brentford 1, Milton Keynes 0. Charlton 2-0 up at Brighton. Bristol City 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. Burnley 0, Preston 1. Leeds are winning 2-0 at home to Hull. Two clubs with certainly disaffected fans at the moment. Nottingham Forest 1, Fulham 0, Rotherham 1, Wolves 2. And of course it is the FA Cup second round being played today. Barnet 0, Newport 0, Chesterfield 0, Walsall 1, Leyton Orient 0, Scunthorpe 0, Millwall 0, Wickham 0, Northampton 0, Northwich Victoria 1, which would be definitely count as an upset there. A long trip up to Accrington, Stanley, and they are currently being rewarded with I beg your pardon, it's completely the other way around. Accrington have been made the long trip down to Portsmouth and are not to Portsmouth. Bridge 0, Eastleigh 0, Yeovil your FA Cup games, and if he's going to be that sort of player who's a bit of a workhorse, bit of a box-to-box midfielder, and also chips in with 2 or 3 absolute stunners a season, he's going to be a great signing.
Yeah, absolutely. From what we've seen
no pressure,
already,
Ollie.
Yeah, no pressure. From what we've seen from him already, if he does come up with these belting goals, he's going to have a goal of the season competition of his very own by the end of the year. So yeah, all in all, I think it's been a good half. I've been impressed with midfield. We've closed down well. I've just been to relieve myself, and in there I was overhearing some Halifax fans just basically bemoaning their lack of a midfield, and I say praising. More annoyed at the fact that we were pressing so very well in the midfield.
Well, I think we have had a lot more. We've had a lot more space, and we've kept possession a lot better than we have for a while, especially away from home. And that's kind of what we need to do today. I think is we need to make what I'd say we need to do in the second half is take advantage of that space. It's all very well having this space, getting these opportunities, playing the ball over the top, causing the Halifax Town defence problems. But at the minute, just that final ball, just that finishing touch is just missing. I think that's probably what Mark will be saying at half time is just keep putting the pressure on, because they're liable to crumble, but keep your focus in front of goal.
What we need, in that 6-yard box in the penalty around the penalty spot, we've delivered some really decent crosses. The problem is they've been absolutely gobbled up and cleared by the defensive pairing. For me, with crosses that we're putting in, it's screaming for Liam Dickinson. It's screaming for that really, Adam Boyce is good in the air, but he hasn't won a single header that has come in from a cross from either the right or the left-hand side. Whereas Liam Dickinson is that little bit taller, he's that physical presence. He's going to bully the centre-backs. He's going to make sure that it isn't as easy for the centre-halves as it has been in this first half. For me, that is the kind of presence that we're lacking, because, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Is the final balls haven't been there, the crosses haven't been there. But actually, if you've got something that's going to rough up the centre-backs and make it a lot more difficult for them, the chances are going to come from that kind of position, with the right man in there to do so. And that, for me, will be someone like Liam Dickinson. Of course, you're going to lose the work rate and the movement that Boyce has had. But from getting the ball into the box and being on the end of them, we need someone like Liam Dickinson in there.
For me, where Boyce has been successful lately, and we discussed this a little bit earlier, is his work rate and is his ability to just draw defenders away and create a bit of space for your Adam Smith, your Anthony Dudley. Dickinson works very hard, and yeah, you're absolutely right. He will get on the end of those crosses. He's not just a big man, though. He's get your cliche bingo cards at the ready. He's good with his feet for a big man as well, and he will track back. And I'd be surprised if we didn't see him at some point today, either as well as or instead of Adam Boyce. I'm not convinced that the long ball over the top is gonna be the thing that wins us this game, though. The wind it's swirling around. You can sort of see in the light of the floodlights which way the rain's going, and it is sort of swirling around with the wind. If you've never been to the Shay before, it's sort of cut into the ground. It's sort of in a bit of a valley, so the wind does kind of whip around the place quite a bit, and
it's very unpredictable, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as the game goes on, that weather is going to play quite a big part in these conditions. The conditions are going to play a part in deciding the result of this game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, to be fair, we've, for me, one of the reasons why I think we've been the better side is that we've dictated our style of play to the weather better than Halifax have, because Halifax at times have just launched it long and it's been taken for them by the wind and sent further forward than they would have anticipated, and that kind of thing. Whereas for us, we've tried to keep the ball down, I think, for the most part. We've had a couple of chances where we've got the ball in behind, but it's come along the ground. And you look at that Anthony Dudley chance in particular, and what an effort, or what an opportunity that was for us to get the lead. But it came from a perfectly timed through ball along the ground in the end. It was just such a massive opportunity, and one that at the moment you wouldn't have expected Anthony Dudley to have missed. But for me, that's the best chance that we've had. Obviously for Halifax, the best chance for them, the closest they've come, smashing the crossbar from Sean Tooton's effort with that 10 to go in the first half.
There's been a couple of if there is if there are warnings to be had for Guiseley, and I do believe that there definitely are, is that Halifax have whipped in a couple of crosses at some point, a couple of times in this first half, and Guiseley just haven't quite reacted as quickly as they would have liked, and Halifax do have that capacity. They do have Jordan Burrow, they do have Sean Tooten, who are not afraid to take a shot. Tooten, in the incident that you're mentioning, of course, there was no one around him. He was allowed to turn. He was leaning back on the shot, which so it sort of rattled off the underside of the crossbar, and thankfully we were able to scramble it clear. But there's been a couple of times in that first half where Guiseley have just been scrambling a bit for challenges. And to go back to my earlier point, if they're doing that on a much soggier pitch come the 70th minute, you run the risk of mistiming challenges. You run the risk of giving free kicks, penalties, even red cards away.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, so far there's just the one man that's gone into the book, Jordan Burrow. He's their top goal scorer, 13, 14 goals so far this season, which says a hell of a lot about a man.
He was tracking back, and we both agreed it was a striker's challenge on Gavin Rothery, wasn't it? He really just sort of clattered
Crossed
into
that one
it.
off as well.
You're not going anywhere, sunshine.
Cross that off on Cliche Bingo.
Yeah, cross that off. Anyone got house, you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. We understand that we might be dropping in and out a little bit this afternoon. We do apologise. As I say, the Shay is cut into the ground a little bit, so our signal is not quite as good as it would normally be. But do let us know if we're coming through for you loud and clear. We should be all right as we speak. Chris, looking at the bench. Who's on the bench for Guiseley today? Who can come on and make the difference other than Liam Dickinson today?
That's about it.
Quiz question. Really? Just Liam Dickinson? Just Liam Dickinson?
No, I mean, to be fair, we look at the subs bench. Who have we got? We've got Dan Atkinson, subkeeper, Ryan Toulson.
I just said Toulson would be. I just said Toulson would be interested in getting on today.
So we've got Ryan Toulson, Tom Craddock, Liam Dickinson, and Nicky Boschel.
It's a very attacking lineup there. And what we've proven so far is that if we've got players willing to run, willing to get on the end, if we are going to carry on with this long ball game, we've got players with legs who can make it.
I'm not sure if I like the term long ball game, to be honest.
Well, I'm oversimplifying it, but it has been. We have tried to put a couple of balls over the top. We've also tried to mix it up a bit. I mean, I don't want to sound down on us because we've actually played very well, and we are mixing it up a bit. Quite a bit in terms of the types of chances that we're trying to create. In terms of we've kind of got a bit bogged down around the D when Hatfield and Boys have tried to combine, do a little 1-2 to get through. Halifax are holding firm at the moment, but I think player like Craddock, player like Boschel, certainly Nicky Boschel, he must be busting to get on the pitch by now.
Yeah, you would absolutely think so. He's been out for a while. He came off the bench last week. Didn't really have a great deal of time to do that much, to be honest. But yeah, as you say, he'll be desperate to get back into the frame. One good omen, very finally, there hasn't been a 0-0 draw or a clean sheet for Halifax in 30-odd games. Surely there'll be goals in this one.
Well, we are hoping so. We are rather hoping that there will be a classic game about to break out here at the Shay. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game at all. It's very entertaining. Both sides are finding space. I agree with Chris. There are definitely goals in this one. And hopefully we will be seeing them. And hopefully we will be seeing them scored by the men currently playing in yellow for the Lions this afternoon. To take you through the second half then, Nick Keefe, but first, Colin Robertson.
Thank you, Dave. We're all refreshed and somewhat improved in temperature by a cup of tea, very kindly provided by the team here. And we're witnessing the Lions just coming out on the field now, lining up and getting ready for a second half, which we, as Dave rightly said, hope will involve the Lions making a breakthrough. We're talking that to the Halifax team. Kelly here was telling us that they haven't kept a clean sheet since the last game of the season against Altrincham last year. And since then, they've conceded in every game. Well, they haven't conceded in the first half, despite the Lions having some good chances to make the breakthrough. And so we hope that we can improve or continue that record into the second half here.
Oh, we just.
No, you're on.
I'm not sure I am I?
There you are. Yes.
We've just seen one of the strangest things I've ever seen in a football game, which is the kickoff was taken again because one of the Halifax players had encroached into the wrong half of the pitch.
Well, we are underway, and we are just juggling ourselves in terms of the wiring that we have here, because we always have a rather complicated arrangement. We seem to have one again this afternoon. Meanwhile, Guiseley on the ball, playing it long, over the top now. Good chance here for the Lions to get an effort in towards goal, but it's held by the keeper, Johnson. And the ball moves down this left-hand side as Halifax press themselves with Sadlier, the man who hit the crossbar, playing the ball into the penalty area. This time it's cleared. Bounces over Kingsley James. Gavin Rothery is slow to react on this occasion. And the ball is played back by Ben Sharif, the impressive centre-half, to Johnson, the goalkeeper. And Tooten takes over for Halifax in the middle of the park and plays it forward, and then is awarded a free kick, a rather dubious looking one, which the home fans enjoy. And the Lions have some defending to do.
Well, I suppose that the home fans will take that because they were penalised one or two times in the first half that we didn't agree with. It's a difficult ball, actually, to make something really dangerous of, because the free kick is very, very central, just on the edge of the centre circle. And it's very difficult to get an angle here to make it easy for a player to head towards goal. Probably just out of shooting range.
Free kick will be taken. It's lofted into the penalty area, up towards Ben Sharif, headed away. And Guiseley complete the clearance with Adam Smith booting the ball up in the air and finding Adam Boys on the halfway line. He lays the ball in field here to Rothery, starts a run himself towards this Halifax defence, cuts past one onto the left-hand side of the penalty area, gets the ball into the area. It's free now and it's a chance for Dudley, who puts the ball in the back of the net. And Guiseley have got the breakthrough. And Halifax aren't going to get that first clean sheet since that game against Altrincham. And the Lions take the lead. Halifax 0, Guiseley 1.
Well, he might not have buried the ball with his first clear chance of the game, but that time, absolutely no mistake. He gave the goalkeeper a good look. He waited for Johnson to go down, placed it into the opposite corner of the goal. A very composed finish by the young man. And a perfect time to get the goal as the away team to take the lead early in the second half. And now this game that was so finely in the balance turns into a completely different one. The away team with the narrowest of leads, and Halifax having to come out on the front foot and try and get themselves back into it as quickly as possible.
Well, Anthony Dudley scoring, but also one has to appreciate the effort and the work of Gavin Rothery in that build-up. Guiseley on the ball here with Norburn. Back to Hurst. Hurst plays the ball up, and it's out for a throw for Halifax. And there's been two quick-fire goals for Aldershot, who were 2-0 down to Dover at the Crabble, and they've pulled that back to 2-2. Dover having a bit of a wobble. They lost here last weekend to Halifax, 4-2. Feels like there's plenty more goals in this game, actually. Halifax on the ball now. Play it forward. It's intercepted well by Jake Lawler. He finds Norburn. Norburn threads the ball into Dudley, who spins on it and plays it in towards Boys, and Boys just gets between the central defenders but just can't get a clean control of the ball. It's cleared away by Johnson and out for a Guiseley throw.
Am I right? Is it not too long until we go down to Aldershot?
Yes, 19th of December.
And it's worth knowing then that they give very good team talks at half-time there, by the sounds of it. Because
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were beaten there in the trophy, weren't we, just a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah. You see, now, a couple of games ago, that was a huge tie for us. That was a glamour tie. It's funny to think how far we've come, that's just a routine game at the moment.
Now Smith gets the ball into the area. It's a rather optimistic cross, and it's claimed by Sam Johnson. Halifax make the clearance, headed away by Adam Lockwood. Adam Boys can't go for this because he's in an offside position, so he allows the play to go all back to the goalkeeper. Guiseley leading by a goal to nil. That's the good news. Anthony Dudley getting on the score sheet early in the second period. It's a great run from Gavin Rothery. Guiseley win the throw in right back position. Suddenly there's no hurry in the Lions to take the throw. Jake Lawler trundles across to give the ball back.
Well, it's the right thing to do when you've just taken the lead, is just to slow the game down a little bit, both in possession and at the breakdowns. Make sure you can avoid, if at all possible, conceding an immediate equaliser.
Goalkeeper's now come well out of his goal to play a long one forward for Halifax, and it's actually worked very kindly for them. Sadlier wins the ball, but as he skips it over Hurst, who made a lunging challenge to win it, and just has to stretch his thigh as a result of it. Sadlier couldn't keep the ball under control, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, and that showed the challenge of playing the long pass, playing towards that stand where all the Halifax fans are. As Guiseley found in the first half, the ball does not travel truly, and that ball was nowhere near the Halifax man it was meant for.
Guiseley get the ball into the Halifax half, but now the home side are coming forward with a bit more persistence. Sadlier on the left flank. Back to James. James up against Rothery, sends it to McManus, the left back, but it's just triangular passing at the moment, and a good tackle comes in from Norburn to take the ball away from Sadlier. Picked up by Nicky Rowe, and the Shaman keep the possession football going, and then it's played in, and there's a claim of a free kick for the challenge on the 17, McDonald, but no dice as the referee. But Halifax still recover the second phase, urged on by the home fans now. James sprays the ball out towards McDonald. Good interception from Danny Lowe. Dudley wins it back, plays it in towards Hatfield. Hatfield up against James, wins that battle, plays a nice ball in here for Boys to chase. Boys just gets past the last man in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, takes a shot, oh, it hits the upright. He can't get the rebound, and it's away, but Adam Boys was played in there brilliantly by Hatfield. Rode the challenge of the first defender, and then hammered the ball goal bound, and it hits the upright and away.
Yeah, he did very well on the shoulder of the right back there, Boys. The covering challenge was coming across, and it forced Boys to shoot on his left foot, which wasn't his preference, but actually he struck it very well. Just hit the outside of the post, almost at crossbar height, 6 inches further to his right, and that would have been in the very top corner of the goal. Halifax are on the attack now.
Halifax, yeah, they are with Kingsley James. Plays the ball to the right-hand side. Bolton floats it forward towards the edge of the area. Hurst clears. It was under no pressure. He concedes possession back to Rowe. Rowe looks to play the ball to the left-hand side. Jordan Burrow flicks it into the area. Jake Lawler wants to let it run out, but it won't go out. And in the end, hoofs the ball into the stand. And it's out for a Halifax throw.
Well, this game has really sparked into life what was an interesting, good football game in the first half. That goal came at just the right time to take this contest to the next level. Home fans right back into this now after a quiet spell just before half-time.
Throw from McManus on the left-hand side. Played in here to Tooten. Tooten to McManus, plays it into the area, it's flicked over, and there's a looping header at the back post there from McDonald, but it goes over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. As the attendance comes through this afternoon, 1,355 here at the Shea, 177 away from the Guiseley faithful.
So that's a few hundred more than the last time we were here. It wasn't my imagination. It's a little bit less sparsely populated than when we came in the FA Cup, when I think things were probably at their lowest ebb for Halifax at the time.
There's a point. Mike Tiller is our regular video man. He's unable to come today. He hurt his ribs this week, and just want to send our best wishes to Mike. Know you're listening in. Hope you make your recovery. Don't laugh.
No, but you have to keep breathing. The main thing that happens if you hurt your ribs is the main danger is that you pick up a bug in your respiratory system because it's so painful to breathe deeply.
Dr. Nick will be available for questions later.
Hello, everybody.
Halifax have the ball. They play it down the left-hand side. Back to the football. Sadlier on this left flank, causing Hurst all sorts of problems and then slips on the turf. Hurst able just to shepherd the ball out for a goal kick. Few goals in the Vanarama National North, actually. Stockport 1, FC United 1. Big game there today. And you can just hear that Hurst has gone to ground. He's going to need some treatment. I think he's just ticking down the clock at the moment to the disgruntlement of the home fans.
Well, no, I don't know, because he pulled his right thigh about 5 minutes ago in the sliding challenge for that stray crossfield ball we were talking about. And he's waited until the ball went out of play. In fair to him, he's not gone down in the midst of play.
Yeah.
But he's waiting until it went out, and he's sat down, and he's having a chat to Martin Stringfellow now. And this will be music to the ears of you-know-who on the bench.
Yes.
Who was dying to play the last time we came and was left out for Liam Marsden, would equally be desperate to get on today. Martin's had a look at his right thigh. He's not spent too long with him. I don't know whether he's sending him to play or whether he's taking him off the pitch.
He's made a motion, I think, to say he's off. He's going. And James Hurst, I think, is going to be substituted. He's, I think, pulled a thigh muscle. And the home fans are furious because he's taken his time to get off the field. Referee stopping Hurst from walking across to the dugout across the length of the pitch. And Ryan Tilson no doubt will enter the fray now for Guiseley. In the meantime, we get back underway with 10, whilst Ryan Tilson gets ready, and Adam Smith is in right back position. The Lions have the ball, and Smith chips it forward, looking for Boys. It beats him. Dudley wins the second phase, but he's swiftly closed down, and Halifax come away with the ball. It's now here with Sadlier. Sadlier chips the ball square to James. And then it's played long over the back line. Burrow looking to get on the end of it, but good defensive work from Adam Lockwood. A cool header to defend the long ball forward, and Guiseley win possession back. Norburn's inside his own half. He's trying to find a pass, and as he turns inside his own half, he eventually plays it out to Smith, who in turn sends it long. This is going to ask an awful lot of Adam Boys, but Boys doesn't give it up, and in the end he forces the throw by chasing down the defender, Ben Clapperton, and Guiseley will be able to make that change now.
I have to say, if it was the last minute of the game and a player was trying to run the clock down to see it out for a win, I'd be completely in agreement that's pretty much pushing the edges of sportsmanship. Have a little bit more sympathy when a player's down with an injury and he's not being stretchered off. He can walk off under his own steam, but they've not had a chance to prepare a substitute for him. You know, I don't think that Hurst needs to.
Toulson makes a cross, and it's just been cleared. His first entry into the field was almost very productive. Norburn has to step across, though, and prevent the counter-attack. In the end, McDonald skips past Norburn and then earns a free kick on the halfway line. But Ryan Tilson there, almost with his first touch of the ball, was creating a very good crossing opportunity for Guiseley. But Halifax in the meantime have the ball, and they're coming on the counter-attack. Lockwood's got himself in a mix-up with Tooten. Tooten can shoot on goal. He does, but he puts it past the uprights. Stephen Drench was flat-footed. I don't think he would have got to it had he hit the target, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Well, Guiseley switched off there for a moment. They hadn't realised Halifax had taken the free kick. They'd actually not taken it from where it was given. The referee was okay with that, and so Guiseley needed to be alert. And the ball was moved forward quickly, and they were caught on the back foot.
It lifts the home fans. Guiseley leading by a goal to nil.
I'm just going to finish that thought that I was saying before. If I was Mark Bauer, I wouldn't want my injured player rushing off the pitch before I'd got the sub ready to bring on for him. So I've got a little bit of sympathy for James Hurst not rushing himself to jog off injured, actually. But Toulson's on now, and he'll be looking to make A good impact, having lost his place in the first team.
Toulson now on the ball at right back, plays it up and over the top of the back line. Finds Boys with a good ball. Boys lays it square. Finds Rothery. Rothery towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Threads it in towards the goal, but it's just beyond Dudley at that back post. And again, the counter-attack is on. And again, it's a good run free from McDonald. McDonald down that right flank. He claims he's fouled. Referee gives the free kick against McDonald. And the home fans are absolutely steaming about that.
Well, it was always going to happen that way because Lockwood was fouled after that first challenge, and having not given the first one, the second one the referee couldn't. The one on Lockwood, the referee couldn't really ignore that foul. But of course, it was pretty much the worst case scenario as far as the fans in the home end there were concerned, to not have been given one that they should have been got, and then obviously to concede a free kick immediately after. They do look dangerous though at the moment on the break, Halifax, down that right hand side. Danny Lowe's been pegged back. He's not been able to get forward as much as he was doing, not with the kind of carefree abandon that he was able to in the first half anyway.
Guys, they have the ball inside the Halifax half, but it's a temporary measure. The Shaman win possession back, blocked by Lowe, but still they come forward. It's just rolling a little bit more kindly for the home side than it was a few moments ago, and Tooten does well to get past one man before he's intercepted by Hatfield, I think, in defensive duties. It goes all the way back to Sam Johnson. Johnson up in the air, flicked on by Burrow. Guisey will recover the ball. It's high in the air again from Hatfield. And this time, Boys can't win that one. Hatfield tries to win possession back. He manages to foul Burrow. Burrow goes down. Hatfield shows his displeasure. But it's a free kick to Halifax.
Yeah, just getting a little bit fraught on the pitch down there now. And as both teams have realised, the referee hasn't given every decision the way that they would have expected. And so both sets of players trying it on a little bit, to be honest, at the moment.
Free kick waiting to be taken. There's a real melee of players on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's about level with the centre circle. It's floated in. It goes beyond Adam Lockwood and Hamza Bencharif. Bencharif motions to the referee that he was fouled. Ollie Yates unmoved by that suggestion. Guiseley get the ball up to the halfway line. Gavin Rothery on the ball, under pressure. Plays it down that left flank, but the Lions can't make it stick. They do get the throw, though. And there's been some quick-fire goals, actually, to tell you about. Eastleigh had taken the lead in the FA Cup game against Stourbridge. Dover 3, Aldershot 2 now. And Cheltenham now 2-1 up against Chester. Bradford Park Avenue are winning 2 in the north, 2-0 against Stalybridge. Guisey on the ball here with Hatfield. Hatfield, some distance from goal, goes into the penalty area now, keeps running. Good challenge comes in on him to prevent him going any further, but Guisey win it back here with Dudley. Dudley goes in, he's stopped. And there's a crunching challenge on Dudley. And then he goes down and the referee shows Dudley a yellow card. And I think Anthony Dudley had a good claim for a penalty there, because he took the ball past the man and was blocked in the area.
Yeah, I agree. And what Dudley's done there is exactly what you shouldn't really do, which is gone straight away and committed a foul out of anger and impatience and displeasure with the referee, and it's given away what was still quite a dangerous position for Guiseley inside the Halifax area. But it did look, as you say, tipped the ball past the player, and it looked like he was manhandled and impeded from running on it to continue the move in the box.
The ball forward goes all the way through to Stephen Drench, who places a firm foot through it. Guiseley get the ball back. Norburn winning it well. Hatfield now helps it on here to Smith on the right hand side. Smith, can he cross? He tries to cut in field, cuts away on the angle of the penalty area, gets it across the face of goal. It was a decent delivery, but no one really attacked the edge of the 6-yard box in the path of the cross, and it goes beyond them and out for a goal.
Just needed someone to gamble a little bit sooner, didn't it? That ball was exactly where you'd want Adam Smith to play it, and it just needed somebody to be arriving at the right moment to stab it home. Just a little bit of a lull now in the shade on the pitch and amongst the fans. It's all been happening. It's a really exciting local derby, actually, this. The weather's settled down a bit, and it's making the game a little bit more straightforward for both teams to play, and that shows how tightly matched the two sides are.
Danny Lowe plays a poor ball into the bodies in the blue shirts. And Guiseley concede a free kick about level with the edge of the centre circle. Halifax now get the centre halves forward. Ben Sharif, Clapperson in there too, on the edge of the D. And there's about 5 blue shirts to aim for. The ball floated in towards that edge of that D. Gavin Rothery helps the ball away, but it's straight back to the home side, who will come down the left-hand side this time as they look to cross and make the breakthrough. Tooten crossing into the box, headed on by Jake Lawler, and then another blast of goal hits the crossbar, and then a drill from McManus from distance just past the upright, and Guiseley again come close to conceding. That's twice now that Halifax have hit the crossbar, and one time that Guiseley have hit the woodwork.
Well, that's a huge let-off for Guiseley. Not a huge amount they could have done about either chance. This is Halifax making some opportunities, and that one in the box that was hammered against the crossbar shook the frame of the goal and came back out.
Not quite sure who hit the original shot.
I think it was Jordan Burrow, but I might be wrong.
Happened very quickly. Northwich Victoria 2-0 up now in the FA Cup against Northampton. Halifax, though, trailing by a goal to nil here to Guiseley, are pressing forward again, once again coming down the right-hand side, and a goal kick is given after McDonald goes for the ball with Adam Lockwood, and the home side don't agree with Ollie Yates' decision. The referee points for a goal kick.
Am I allowed to disagree?
I think he got it right, didn't he?
Well,
Ref?
yeah. I also think Lockwood was fouled, so if it wasn't a goal kick, I think it was a free kick.
They are separated still by that Anthony Dudley goal.
No, the
66 minutes gone.
The home fans behind the goal didn't have quite the same angle that we did from the side. We were quite well placed to see that. Down as we are in the corner, in the boxes, in the corporate hospitality here at the Shea.
Ball's played back to the goalkeeper Johnson as Guiseley temporarily get back into the Halifax half. Much more of this game we've played in our half since we got the goal. Ryan Tilson has to clear from the ball directed at Sadlier, and now Adam Lockwood from the back plays it into the feet of Lowe. Lowe down the left-hand side, looking for Dudley. Dudley finds Boys. Boys and Dudley combine, and then as Dudley tries to take it past the defender, he feels he's fouled, but the referee doesn't. Adam Lockwood steps up and wins the ball back, though, for Guiseley really well. Gives it to Rothery. Rothery's got 2 on the left-hand side. Tries to thread it through to Boys. Gets the ball back, though, Rothery. Plays it in here. Too low. Into the area now. Dudley across the face. A goal. Nobody able to make the connection. Boys was surging in there, but in the end, it's harmlessly out for a goal kick.
Well, that's a bit more like it from Guiseley. They've been pegged back in their own half for a little bit of the last 10 minutes. Good work down the left. Guys, they haven't posed such a threat down the right actually since Hurst went off. It's of course probably the part of the game where Adam Smith will tend to, from what we understand from Wrexham fans, he will tend to drop in effectiveness as the second half goes on. And we might see a substitution at some point later in the game.
It was Nicky Boschel, wasn't it, last week?
It was. I think I would take that and put him on the left and bring Anthony Dudley back to the right.
As it is, the Lions have a bit of defending to do again. Tewton on the ball. Jake Lawler wins the ball off him, gives it to Smith. Smith down the right-hand side, again with not the same zip and verve that he showed in the first half. He hoofs it down that right flank, looking for Adam Boys. A little bit aimless in the end. And you can see on the bench at the far side, the fourth official with the board suggests to me there will be another change.
Well, Smith is waving, keeps looking over at the bench. I'm not quite sure what he's signalling. He's not injured. He doesn't look injured anyway. He wasn't signalling that a substitution was needed, but he was sort of waving his arms at the bench.
Feels like they're having a discussion as to about how they're organising themselves. Guys, he have a throw. He plays it into Smith. Smith back here to Ryan Tilson. Spins on the ball, plays it back. Actually takes it himself and then crosses towards the back post. It's again beyond everyone. Dudley will chase it down and try and win it at the corner flag on the left-hand side as Guiseley attack the Halifax goal. Plays a little back heel. It's inventive, and it allows Danny Lowe to put a cross into the box, but there's not a yellow shirt around. And it actually just gives possession back to Halifax, who take it gratefully and run forward over the halfway line with Sadlier. He's got Tewton ahead of him. Sadlier now on the ball, up against Jake Lawler. Ryan Toulson gets the ball into the box. There's a claim of a handball, rather optimistic, as it hits Jake Lawler while he's facing away from the play. And then it bounces to Gavin Rothery. And back here to Adam Lockwood. James Headley tweeted. He says he thinks Jake Lawler has been excellent at centre-half. Better at centre-half than centre midfield?
I don't know. I mean, he's been very good at centre-back. I like him as a midfielder as well. He can pick out a good pass. He's obviously a big presence. I enjoy watching Jake as a central midfielder because he's an extra shield in front of the back four for all the goal kicks and long clearances that come up. But he has looked very good since dropping back in there, and it's been helpful that it's coincided with the signing of Norburn, so that the loss hasn't been felt in midfield so much as it would have been otherwise.
Well, there's been a Halifax change, and Sam Walker makes the entry into the field of play, replacing Josh McDonald. And immediately Halifax are on the attack again.
You have a squad because you get injuries, but Rob Atkinson's been one of Guiseley's best players so far this season. What do you do when he's fit again, given how well Norburn, Hatfield, Lawler are all playing in the team at the moment? Who goes? Who do you make sit out?
Guiseley paying attention to the other end of the field, and there's a ball down that left-hand side. It's found Danny Lowe, who's gone right forward to try to keep the ball in play as he continued the run right to the byline, but he couldn't make the cross, and now Halifax quickly recover possession. And guys here without Danny Lowe at left back at the moment, and they play one long forward towards Burrow. Good headed clearance from Adam Lockwood, and good work from Dudley, who plays it out to the left hand side, and Gavin Rothery gets into his stride once again, moving towards the goal, plays it to Dudley. Dudley is denied by the defender. Gavin Rothery goes to try and win the second ball, but Halifax defend that well in the end, and they come away with it down the right flank. They look in field. They find the substitute Walker. Walker square now to James. James just outside of the centre circle inside the Guiseley half to Walker. They're patiently building up. There's three ahead of them for this cross to be delivered to. One of them is Burrow, but Jake Lawler is better aerially than Burrow on that occasion, and Guiseley get the ball away. Danny Lowe, fresh from his exertions upfield, plays it long, looking for Adam Boyes. But as Halifax head the ball away, it sort of plumps into the ground as the soft turf takes any bounce out of it, and Guiseley can clear up and get it back to Stephen Drench.
Well, Halifax are chasing this game hard, and they've shown a lot more attacking threat since they went behind. Not too many chances on Stephen Drench's goal, but of course the ones they had were more than enough, actually, to have got themselves back into the game. There's a little bit of activity down on the away bench.
Now Halifax come with the ball again, and Sadlier running at the goal, blocked by Norburn. Good tackle comes in from Oliver Norburn. Smith now, and Nick's absolutely right, there is a player stripped up. I think that's Nicky Boschel, and I think the change will be Boschel for Smith. McManus now looks ahead of him for options, and he in the end opts to go back to his defence, and Adam Boyes will make the vain effort to close down Clapperson, but Clapperson has plenty of time to move up to the halfway line as Guiseley begin to entrench themselves in their own half into defensive positions, looking to hold on to this, but Jake Lawler slips as the ball comes over. Thankfully on that occasion it runs through to Stephen Drench and not to Sadlier. Kieran Sadlier was looking to capitalise, and then he slips. Still 1-0 to the Lions as we head into the last quarter of an hour. The ball cleared from Stephen Drench, gives the ball to her Boyes. Boyes manages to keep it in play and cross in field, but can't pick out any Guiseley shirts because there weren't any with him. And this is the problem. Guiseley now working hard to defend this lead. and conceding the ball in dangerous places. And thankfully on that occasion, a free kick has been given to Guiseley for a challenge on Adam Lockwood. And the Lions can make what I can only imagine is a much needed change.
Yeah, and it was a bang to the head for Adam Lockwood. Bit of pain. It was on the cheek or the temple. Now this is not the change we were expecting, Colin. This is Gavin Rothery actually going off. So let's see what we make of this.
Well, I'm surprised at that. I think Gavin Rothery's played well, and
he has.
Still, in the last few moments, has been running at the defence.
He has played well. He doesn't show any obvious signs of injury. And Adam Smith has faded actually in the last quarter of an hour. He's not having anywhere near so much of an impact on the game as he was doing earlier on. But Boschel is into the fray out on the left.
And his first effort actually earns Guiseley a throw-in down that left flank. So that means that Dudley just behind Adam Boys now.
Yeah, it's almost like a flatter sort of a 4-4-2, because Dudley will want to push on up front. He won't want to drop into midfield so much as Rothery would normally.
Some goals to tell you about as well in the Vanarama National, but at the moment, Guiseley, just concede possession. Very cheaply. Give Halifax a throw in right back position. Dover have scored a couple of quick fire ones. They're 5-2 up now against Aldershot. Southport 2, Macclesfield 1. It's a bit of a turn up for the books there. And it's now Woking 3, Lincoln City 1. Guiseley on the ball now as Smith brings the ball down the right hand side and manages to beat himself by just over elaborating, but wins the ball back and then tries to thread it through to Hatfield. Hatfield unable to get to the ball, and Halifax can defend and play it up to the halfway line, where Sadlier tries to win possession back, but it's good defensive work from Ryan Toulson. Chips the ball down the right flank. Adam Boys goes surging after it to win it, but Hamza Ben Sharif is much too wily for him on that occasion, just manages to get ahead of it. And Halifax win possession back. They're doing well when Guiseley are getting into that final third. They're breaking down the attacks. And Jake Lawler has to tidy up, but his ball forward is poor. And Halifax again have the ball. James down the left flank. Now Jake Lawler has to shepherd this away from Burrow, sends it back to Stephen Drench. And Drench's clearance is intercepted by James, and so Halifax have the ball still. Kingsley James on the left-hand side, up against Ryan Toulson, plays it square, finds McManus. McManus lays it across to the other fullback. Good thumping challenge comes in from Nicky Boschel, but still Halifax come forward with the ball on the right flank now. Danny Lowe has to watch this one, and it's a really poor ball into the area from Tooten. And Guiseley breathe a sigh of relief.
How long's left in this then? Because at the moment this is attack versus defence.
13 by my reckoning. The wind gets up and you can feel that wind. You can probably hear that wind rather, as Guiseley come forward with the ball. Hatfield up against two foes, the wind and the opposition, but manages to get the ball into the area, and Dudley is tackled just before he can get away from the back line. The ball picked up here by Lowe, and he takes his time, plays it down the left flank, but this time Nicky Boschel is offside, and Guiseley concede possession, and a free kick is given Halifax's way.
One key change compared to what we saw in the first half is that Halifax have not been caught napping with a Guiseley striker running inside to beat the offside trap anywhere near so much in the second half as in the first. They've defended a little bit deeper, they've held a better line against Boys and Dudley, and so in general it's not been they've not seen so many through bowls putting Halifax on the back foot as we did before half time.
Good work from Adam Boys, trying to chase the ball down in the left back position. Concedes a throw though. Halifax try to get the ball back in play quickly. A couple of other goals. Eastleigh now 2-0 up in that FA Cup tie against Stourbridge. Bradford Park Avenue had been pegged back by one and Stourbridge have a goal. Guiseley on the attack again, as Boschel wins the ball back and tries to play it infield. It's cut out for another throw. And just finally, Gainsborough Trinity are now 2-1 up against Harrogate Town. Still Guiseley lead by 1-0. Anthony Dudley, the scorer, just after the break. And we head to the last 10 minutes. The Lions on the rare foray forward in the last 20 minutes. They've been pegged back. The cross into the box. It's headed away. It's going to be picked up by Smith on the right-hand side. Can he return the ball into the area? Smith gets it onto his left foot, drills it across the goal, but nobody anticipated the ball again. Very similar to the area he played the ball into earlier in this match. But again, no Guiseley players in that sort of back post where the 6-yard box is to capitalise.
He puts the ball, as Halifax make a substitution, Smith puts the ball into exactly the right place in the area, just around the edge of the 6-yard box, that area where a goalkeeper is going to be stranded between coming for it and staying on their line. Puts a bit of doubt into their mind, but unfortunately hasn't had the runners arriving just at the right moment to try and poke in a finish from close range.
You can probably tell from the home fans' reactions, guys who've just been given a free kick in the centre circle. Smith on the ball, closed down. There's the ball to Ryan Toulson. And as you say, Nick, the pressure continues. Drench clears downfield, but it's picked up again. Sadly now on the ball, tackled by Toulson. Throw in for Halifax.
I do understand the home fans' disapproval. The referee's been a little bit ropey in places today, but it hasn't really affected the game because neither team is flying in with any bad challenges or anything like that.
To be fair, the conditions make it difficult for a referee on such a day. Norburn's on the ball as Guiseley managed to win the ball back here, and Smith plays it down the right-hand side. Boys again charging forward. Their work rate has been brilliant again from Adam Boys. Finds Hatfield. Hatfield will earn Guiseley a throw.
I guess what I mean is he's made decisions against both teams that we've disagreed with from up here, but they've just been little fouls. They haven't been, huge turning point of the game decisions. The big moments, the shout for handball when someone drilled the ball into Jake Lawler's elbow at 1 yard distance. Those big decisions in the game he's got right, and he's done well to keep his cards away.
Well, Norburn plays the ball into the feet of Boys, but Boys' touch is poor, so it's out for a throw for Halifax in left back position, which they take quickly. Boys has to keep the pressure on this back line so that they can't build up from the back. Hamza Ben Sharif plays a crossfield ball towards the left flank, and then there's a firm challenge in here on Nicky Boschel. They're all up and happy, and Halifax are still coming down the right hand side as they keep the ball moving. It's in here to Walker on the edge of the D. The substitute chips the ball into the area. Good interception there from Jake Lawler, and a free kick has been given to Halifax, a yard out from the edge of the area. And Adam Lockwood has his head in his hands in confusion at the decision.
Wow. Well, having said what I just said, that decision was given for a handball against Adam Lockwood. It hit him the very top of the arm, the shoulder. His arms were down by his side. Very, very close range. That's a really harsh free kick to give away in such a dangerous situation. I may regret having damned the referee with faint praise here in a moment.
The referee's going to get this wall back. It is literally a yard. It's on the D, on the right-hand side of the D, and it's a yard off the edge of the penalty area, and this is an absolute gilt-edged chance for Halifax to at least hit the target. Stephen Drench just organising his wall, forcing a wider wall here, putting Anthony Dudley into his position. The ball about to be drilled in. It goes and into the back of the net. Took a deflection off the wall. Misflighted Stephen Drench. The home fans are in ecstasy. Guiseley have been undone yet again with a late goal. Stephen Drench curses the sky. It's now Halifax 1, Guiseley 1.
Well, that's really, really frustrating timing. Sorry, I'm just watching the stewards trying to contain a little miniature pitch invasion down there behind the goal. Drench wasn't happy with the way the wall were arranging themselves. I'll need to see it again to see exactly what happened in there. But I don't agree with the free kick. I don't agree with the decision that, as far as I can see, the referee gave on the edge of the area. And Guiseley had everybody in the box, but they just couldn't get enough people in between where it was being taken and the goal, and it just thundered off the underside of the crossbar. Drench obviously wrong-footed, unsighted, as you say, a deflection was taken.
Guiseley press forward, but Halifax repel the attack and they send it into the Lions half, and they come forward again in numbers, and Guiseley are having to get back because Walker on the ball. Plays it to the right-hand side. It's chipped in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, towards Burrow. He leans into Jake Lawler, but Ryan Toulson forced into the making the clearance. And the throw-in is now with Halifax, who feel the winds of change as the winds of change are in their favour, rather, as they take this free kick. Throw-in, rather. I'll get my words right in a moment, but it's played through here towards Sadlier, who manages to get past Toulson for a moment. Played back here. Now McManus headed away on the edge of the area. Second effort comes in that's very, very high from James Bolton, and thankfully it's behind for a goal kick, but Guiseley still being pressed back, and it feels like this game is all about holding on to the point for us now, whereas earlier on you'd have said we should really have been putting this game to bed in that first half.
Well, it's not so much the winds of change, it's that Halifax have been dominating going forward for quite a while now, and so having gotten back into the game and having the boost of confidence that having scored a goal gives you, that's only going to be enhanced, isn't it, in the last few minutes of the game. I think we're going to make one final substitution. Is it Liam Dickinson coming on? Probably not before time, but it's going to have to be for Adam Smith or one of the players who looks like they've run out of gas.
Halifax on the ball again, going long again, looking for Burrow, helped away by Jake Lawler. Jake Lawler wins the ball back again, gives it to Ryan Toulson, and again it's down that right hand flank, and Boyes chases after it, but it will go all the way out for a goal kick.
Adam Boyes is still chasing gamely, as you say, but with just moments left in this game, the final substitution is being made. It is Smith who's coming off. We're still yet to see Smith and Dickinson playing together, aren't we?
So Liam Dickinson for Adam Smith.
But he's taking his time walking off the pitch. Maybe he doesn't realise that Guiseley want to win this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. I wouldn't call a point a perfect outcome of this fixture. We have to beat the teams around us, don't we, this season? And this is a Halifax team that, on the balance of that first 45, we can beat. You know, there's no question about it. But we seem to have, since the goal, settled back in this game and allowed them to come on to us.
Well, yeah, and any away point in the division is a decent point, but having dominated the game in the first half, taking the chance immediately after half-time to go into the lead.
And it gets worse now as Sadlier comes down this left-hand side, gets the ball into the box, blocked by Adam Lockwood, out for a throw for Halifax.
No, a point doesn't represent a good return really on the balance of the afternoon, but at the moment it's looking like that would be better than the inevitable, because Halifax are really pressing.
Well, McManus, he finds Walker. Nobody's picked him up. Walker plays the ball into the box. On the edge of the 6-yard box, a header comes in from Burrow, but he doesn't direct it well. It's behind for a goal kick.
So Adam Boyes has drifted out to the right to leave Dickinson on his own up front, really. Dudley just in behind, Hatfield in behind. Not so much width or shape as there was before now for Guiseley. The defenders and the midfield are all still there to try and cover, but everyone else, it's just about try whatever works. Try whatever works for the last few minutes. Give something a go. Dickinson calling for the ball from the goal kick. Drench looking for him.
Last couple of minutes now. And the header gives Ryan Toulson a bit of a challenge. Dickinson wins his first header from Toulson's ball forward. Halifax win the play back, and it's down here to Sadlier, and Sadlier cuts in field, gets it into the centre circle. But again, guys here in defensive shape, because Ben Sharif will play the ball over the top. Good header from Danny Lowe, but only as far as the halfway line, only as far as Nicky Rowe. To the right flank now, as the Shaman press on that right-hand side. They have the chance to get the ball into the box once again, this time from that right flank. The throw returned to the taker and crossed in towards the edge of the penalty spot. The flag is up. Guiseley get the free kick. Sadlier doesn't agree.
I'm not sure I agreed. Is this the fourth time we've played Halifax this season?
Yep.
So am I correct at the moment? It's a win apiece and a draw.
Yeah.
If we, as we go into added on time of 5 minutes, if this game finishes as a draw, this is a season-long stalemate in the West Yorkshire Derby, isn't it? Over 4 games, 2 draws, and a win apiece.
Well, that story about Northwich Victoria, who were 2-0 up at Northampton, has changed completely. Northampton have turned it round entirely and are 3-2 up now.
Oh, what a shame.
Guiseley, meanwhile, have earned themselves a throw-in from Stephen Drench's clearance. Forced out, and Ryan Toulson will take this. Ryan Toulson, who incidentally received a generous round of applause from the home fans here today. He will launch this one into the box, which he does as a decent long throw. It's headed behind, and Guiseley will get the corner.
It was a good long throw into the danger zone. No choice but for the Halifax man who got his head to the ball first to see it behind.
It's one of those where you wonder about the counter-attack. Halifax still leaving 2 players up, even though they're defending a corner late on in this game. This one whipped into the area. The goalkeeper claims it inside the 6-yard box. It wasn't a good delivery in the end, actually. It was too close to the goalkeeper, Walker, Johnson, who plays it forward very swiftly, and Guiseley have to be very alert, and it's a good clearance from Danny Lowe as the ball bounces almost all the way up to us here. Danny Lowe's taken a real knock from Burrow as he went in really bravely to win the challenge.
Yeah, no theatrics from Lowe. He was in a lot of pain though there.
He's on his feet, and Guiseley still having to defend. Almost my worst fears of that corner was that we'd concede it very cheaply to them and the counter-attack would be on, and it is. And it's Hibbs, the substitute, on this left-hand side, Jake Hibbs, who's running down that left flank and finding oceans of space. Gets the ball into the area, up towards the back post where Burrow could have been in there, but we didn't deal well enough with Jake Hibbs on that left-hand side. 3 players around him to close him down, and in the end he had the time and the space to whip the ball across the 6-yard box, and Burrow at the back post just couldn't connect.
Well, it shows what you can do when it's the end of a game and you can afford to take a few more risks. Both of Guiseley's right-sided players were marking people. Hibbs was just an extra man and nobody could pick him up.
Ball now with Norburn inside there and out, but Norburn's given the ball away. Halifax are in possession of it with Burrow. Tackle comes in from Boschel, but it's still, guys just can't clear their lines. Good tackle comes in there on the left-hand side, and in the end the free kick will go Guiseley's way as Nicky Boschel is penalised, and the home fans are furious at that decision. But we are 2 minutes into the 5, and Guiseley
I cannot,
still 1 each.
I'm so sorry, Colin. I cannot believe what I'm saying here. As soon as that decision was given, people all around us are getting up and leaving the ground. It's 1-1 in the local derby in the last couple of minutes of injury time after what's been a fascinating and really exciting game of football. Aren't you going to go and see it through? There's only 1,300 people here. It's not going to take hours to get back home.
Stephen Drench has hit touch with the clearance. Halifax will take the throw in right back position. Halifax 1, Guiseley 1. Yeah, clearance now from Danny Lowe, gives the ball here to Norburn. Norburn plays it into the feet of Ryan Toulson. Toulson's played into a bit of trouble. He's forced to play it back to Stephen Drench. Drench gets a good clean clearance through it. The header is sound though, and Guiseley managed to recover the ball in the centre circle, headed down by Dudley and towards Boys out to the right hand side. Liam Dickinson plays it down the right flank. It's a too wide angle for it to be picked up there.
Dickinson,
and it's out for a throw.
Dickinson not been on long enough to pick up the tempo of the game and the conditions. He's there for the long balls and the knockdowns, but that was a pass of a person who hasn't been on the pitch for very long and doesn't know what the conditions are like out there yet.
Boys battling in between 2 players and can't win the ball. Guys who will win the second phase here with Danny Lowe on the left-hand side. Can he get one last ball into that Halifax box? It's up towards the edge of the 18-yard box over Liam Dickinson. Didn't time the header at all, and behind for a goal kick.
Might that be that? Might that be that? A 1-1. at the end of another really close, tense game of football between the Lions and our nearest neighbours. It would almost be fitting, wouldn't it, to end the season on a stalemate of 4 games. There isn't much between these two sides in these games.
And the referee blows the final whistle. And Oliver Norburn is furious about that, and he blasts the ball into his own net from distance as Guiseley end this game having taken an early lead in the second half, and Anthony Dudley put the ball in the back of the net. Things were looking good after a good first 45 in which we dominated, and we could have scored more goals, but we were pegged back in the second half, sat very deep, and when the referee made what seemed to be a very controversial decision to gift a free kick to Halifax Town on the edge of the penalty area, for what we can't see was a particularly clear handball decision. The net result was always that the Shaman would be able to convert the free kick, and they did indeed. It took a wicked deflection on its way. They hit the upright twice, we hit the upright. There's been a host of chances, but only one in the end was taken for each side. It finishes here, FC Halifax 1, Guiseley 1.
Well, big games of football rest on the crucial decisions in the big moments. And today we could have been talking about a heroic rearguard action by Guiseley's defence after going 1-0 up early in the second half, having dominated the first half, getting their just rewards immediately after the break. We could have been talking about how well they held out under constant Halifax pressure for the duration of the second half. Instead, we could be talking about the decision for the free kick that the referee gave, that controversial decision against Adam Lockwood on the edge of Stephen Drench's area, and the ball that was drilled home with such power, and we think taking a deflection to wrong foot Stephen Drench and cannon in off the underside of the crossbar. I think on balance 1-1 might actually be the fair result, but it just goes to show those moments, Dave, in the game that make all of the difference. We could have been talking about heroic defending. I'm not sure we should be talking about bad refereeing. Should we be talking about a fair result on the balance of the game's play?
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I think I agree. I broadly agree with you. Guiseley started the second half like a train. Obviously got that goal, but ultimately just couldn't hang on to it. Halifax, to their credit, rallied and started playing a lot better in that second half. But it's another frustrating afternoon on the road for the Lions. It is a 1-1 draw. Anthony Dudley's early strike in the second half cancelled out by Sam Walker's, we think, deflected free kick. We're not certain from the angle that we're at, which is just about level with the penalty area that Guiseley were defending. That's about 3,000 miles that way. That Guiseley were defending in the second half. It is a frustrating day, but positives. Very excellent first half. How important is that Anthony Dudley miss look now?
Well, yeah, big games. If I'm right, big games rest on what happens in the big moments. Then Dudley had 2 gilt-edged chances today, I suppose, didn't he? And maybe if he could have put both of them away rather than just one, we would have been talking about a different result. It's very hard to say that he's a 19-year-old lad in on loan playing competitive football very early on in his career. And we really can't argue with the return he's given us for goals on games since he arrived on loan. So I'm not minded to be too harsh on him for having taken only one of 2 really good chances. But like you, I'll be left to wonder what could have been. Well,
Certainly we can't argue with the return for Anthony Dudley. He's been a fantastic player, and he arguably should have had a hat-trick today. Good performances in the main in midfield, certainly from Adam Boyes, who worked like a train all through the game. Really just kept going and kept closing those defenders down, causing them problems, trying to create space. Maybe just it was one of those games, it just wasn't in the stars.
Maybe. I mean, maybe on another day, James Hurst doesn't get injured. We continue carrying a threat down the right flank for the duration of the game, and Halifax haven't got the opportunity to push quite as far forward as they were doing towards the end of the second half. On the other hand, well done to the Shaman for chasing the game down, really doing everything they could to grab the game, take the initiative back from the visitors and get themselves enough opportunities to get back into it, having taken a real deflating, having conceded a really deflating goal so soon after the break. So all in all, 4 games, as I say, over the season, a win for Guiseley, a win for Halifax, and 2 draws. And that probably tells the story of these 2 sides this season.
Nick, thanks very much for your contribution today, and thanks also to Colin Robertson for taking us through this afternoon's action. We couldn't quite bring you those 3 points that we wanted, but it's a creditable point away from home, and they all count in the end. Let's go through a couple of the other National League score lines as they have come in. Again, 3 games postponed today in the National League. Barrow, Boreham Wood, Bromley, Grimsby and Southport Forest Green all succumbing to the weather. Cheltenham have won 3-1 at home to Chester. Aldershot got themselves back in the game away at Dover Athletic, but Dover run out 5-2 winners this afternoon. Gateshead get a vital victory on their travels to Kidderminster this afternoon. Southport and Macclesfield had a man each sent off, but Southport pick up a vital 3 points, winning that one 3-1. And Wrexham's trip to Torquay is fruitful as they come away with a 1-0 win. A disappointing home defeat though for Tranmere. Tranmere 1, Braintree 2. Lincoln City were also reduced to 10 men on their travels to Woking. Woking win that one 3-1 in the end. Let's look at the standings then. As far as the Lions are concerned, it's 16th place, 25 played, a -13 goal difference and 30 points. Just below us, Aldershot, 24 games played, 28 scored, 39 conceded and 28 points. Just above us, Chester losing today is good for us from our point of view because they're now on -8 and 30 points in 15th place. We're still 9 points clear of the relegation zone. Southport have those 3 games in hand on us, so it's worth remembering. It's still close, but we're not out of it yet. There's a lot of seasons still to play. I'll just go through a couple of National League North scorelines. Brackley 1, Gloucester 0. Bradford Park Avenue can run out 3-1 winners at home to Stalybridge. Chorley 2, North Ferriby 3, and a goal in the second half there. Chorley were 2-0 up in that game, and Wayne Brooksby scored for North Ferriby as they came back to win 3-2. Curzon Ashton win 1-0 at home to Telford. Gainsborough come from behind to beat Harrogate Town 2-1. Hensford 0, Fylde 1, Lowestoft 1, Alfreton 0, Nuneaton 0, Corby 0, Solihull 0, Boston 1, Stockport 1, United of Manchester 2, Tamworth 3, Worcester, 10-man Worcester 0 in that one. And looking at the National League North table, Nuneaton still lead that, 20 games and 41 points. North Ferriby, that's a vital win for them, 20 games and 37 points. Solihull and Fylde just behind them, also on 37, but we've played 18, and Boston played 22, 36 points. Harrogate drop out of those playoff places down to 7th, and played 19 and 34 points. Well, it's been a frustrating afternoon here at the Shea for the Lions. 1-0 up early in the second half after a fantastic first half performance, but just couldn't hold on. Sam Walker's free kick deflecting off the underside of the bar and into the back of the net. We'll be back at the next Guiseley game, which is next week. 1-1. It's a creditable away point. We'll see you then. Bye.